It's day 6 of the main event.
Yes, sir!
Just over 200 players remain.
Crazy.
A field full of remarkable stories.
We're back in it.
A story of family.
Yes.
Can the Mizrachi brothers do the unthinkable and make the final table together?
Me and Mike are just on the right track. If 2 of us make it, that'd be crazy. We'll see what happens.
A story of redemption. Affleck has just been knocked out. Matt Affleck was a chip leader last year who went down on day 6. Can he rebound this year?
I'm here to win.
A story for the ages.
And Johnny Chan has done it.
Over 2 decades ago, Johnny Chan became the last back-to-back winner of the main event.
What about the feeling of winning this year as opposed to last year?
A lot better.
Now he's in position to win it again.
It's not over yet.
It's time to find out whose story will end and whose is just beginning. Day 6 starts now. Welcome to the Rio and the World Series of Poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. I'm Lon McCarran along with Norman Chad.
Day 6. I'm excited.
Where there was once hundreds of tables, now just 24 remain.
Let's win it, baby.
Chip leader Evan Lamprilla is one of 5 players who have over 3 million in chips, while former chip leaders Filippo Candio, Tony Dunst, and Phil Galfond are still in the hunt. There are 15 bracelet winners in the field, including 2 Mizrachi brothers, Robert and Michael, and 1 world champion, Johnny Chan, who's 9th in chips.
I'm feeling pretty good.
The 09 Card Player Magazine Player of the Year, Eric Baldwin, taking his seat at table 2. At the featured table, a man who was a chip leader both this year and last, Matt Affleck, currently 7th in chips.
I feel like a rubbernecker, Lon. Gonna watch Matt either zoom up the leaderboard or have an accident.
He is joined by an eclectic group of players, including Nick Rainey, former tennis pro and assistant to Patrick Antonius, seated alongside Gary Kostiuk, who was diagnosed with MS 3 years ago and is here living his dream. Gary, the short stack at this table, and Matt Affleck, the big stack.
Good luck, you guys.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
I need it.
Oh, how the field has shrunk. Less than 3% of the field remains. The blinds are at 8 and 16,000.
I was once on ESPN for tennis, and I sure hope they show it. So I have proof that I was at one time skinny and in shape. And,
You played tennis?
yeah, way back. So long time ago.
In college?
Yeah.
He was captain of the national championship team at USC in 2002.
Rainey was a 4-time All-American there on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam, 9-7 of hearts, and he'll lay those down. Over to the 49-year-old amateur from Canada, Gary Kostiuk, Queen 9 of diamonds, and he will not play. So action folds over to Danny Chamberlain, 24-year-old, part of the moneymaker effect, 6-4 of diamonds.
He rooms here in Las Vegas with Chance Kornuth, who won a bracelet this year. They met at the University of Colorado.
He started the day with 1.6 million, and from under the gun +3, a raise to 36,000.
At Colorado, they teach you to get feisty from middle position.
Over to Matt Affleck, just under 3 million chips, King 10 offsuit.
At the main event last year, Matt bluffed all in with 10 high on a 9-9 deuce flop. He says that's not going to happen again.
Matt is a very active player. He makes the call. To Brandon Steven, amateur poker player from Wichita, Kansas, ace 10.
This guy just looks like he has a better life than I do.
And he makes the call from the small blind. The big blind folds, so 3 players will see a flop. It is Trey, Jack, Deuce. Steven is best with his ace high. Affleck missed it. Chamberlain with a gut shot. Steven checks.
At Colorado, Chamberlain took continuation bets 101. I believe he got an A.
He does it here. 68,000 to Affleck now. Affleck missed that flop, but he's going to turn up the heat. 185,000.
I just play cards, Lon. They're playing poker.
Steven with the best hand folds.
Affleck says, I play a ton of hands and I raise a ton of hands. Danny Chamberlain's got him to his left all day.
And Chamberlain will lay down his draw begrudgingly.
Easy game, boys. That's how it's done.
One bluff deserves another.
You count them? How many you get yesterday?
I don't know. I got a lot yesterday.
Affleck more than doubled his stack on day 5, and after that hand, he has joined the elite 3 million chip club. He's a chip scooping monster. Well, Norman, it's day 6, and that light at the end of the tunnel is now getting very bright. So many thoughts must be running through the minds of the few left in the field. But first and foremost must be keep this incredible journey going as long as possible.
Lon, I love the main event because a two-time champion is still out there. I love the main event because two brothers are still out there. But I really love the main event because Matt Affleck is still out there. The kid had the chip lead last year and then took the Express out the door. Did he whine? No. Did he moan? No. Did he come back the very next year and take the chip lead again? Yes. You go, Matt.
So far, so good for Matt Affleck. Let's take a look at our chip count brought to you by PokerStars.net. Matt, one of 6 players over the 3 million mark, led by Evan Lamprey, German pro basketball player Michael Skidner in second. How about Johnny Chan in the top 10 with 2.6 million? The average stack just over 1 million. Looking out at the sparsely populated field where only 24 tables remain and only one main event champion, Johnny Chan, and a hand with Matt Kekoan, a 2-time bracelet winner.
Chan, the last main event champion left in the field, and he looms large here. Remember, Stu Unger won his 3rd title 16 years after he went back-to-back. It's been 22 years since Chan went back-to-back.
Chan just re-raised Kekoan pre-flop, and Kekoan will lay it down.
Johnny Chan with 10 bracelets, his most recent one in 2005. Kekoan won his 2nd bracelet this year in a limit hold'em event. Michael Mizrachi finished 8th in that event.
Johnny Chan, a force in this main event. Speaking of the grinder, well, there he is. He began the day with almost 1.8 million chips. He's in a hand with Peter Jetton and Tommy Venus, both of whom checked the flop. Grinder bet 100,000. Venus raised to 250.
Venus is 56 years old. He's a relic in this field.
The flop was Jack, Ace, 9, 2 diamonds. Peter Jetton will lay it down.
What you playing? I got seriously. You have any green?
I had a 3.
All right, I raise.
Grinder re-raises. And Jetton's happy he got out of the hand. Grinder makes it 600,000.
The Venus has been playing at the World Series 33 years. Of course, that's longer than Grinder's been alive.
It's only 350 more.
It's only 350.
Yeah, it's a summer clearance special.
Venus, here's the talk and lays it down.
It is the year of the Mizrachis, and Grinder is the pinup boy.
Dealer, show him my hand. Oh, it's too late. All right, forget it.
Grinder over 2 million chips now. The only other Mizrachi left is brother Robert. He just re-raised all-in pre-flop for his last 238,000. Action over to Stephen Norden, who made the initial raise.
Robert, the sibling elder of the Mizrachi dynasty at 31. This would be for most of Norden's chips.
And Norden will lay it down. Robert Mizrachi hangs in there.
Mizrachi Palooza continues.
Robert has been the brother grinding the last couple of days. Let's catch up with Jean-Robet Bellande. He just saw 7 on the turn and a hand with 2-time bracelet winner Jesper Hogo of Denmark.
You know, I sure hope Jean-Robert doesn't have any poker-playing brothers.
I don't think there's a poker room in the world that can handle 2 Bellandes. Jean-Robert bet 65,000.
Hogo, as a teenager, was a member of the Danish national table tennis team.
He was the first to win a World Series bracelet here and in Europe, and he makes the call. River card now 6 of spades, a 3rd spade on board. Bellande bets out 125,000.
I hate that type of sloppy bet.
I'm on it.
Hogo moves all in.
Now there's an orderly bet.
Almost 600,000.
What a river. If you go all in on the turn, you got me. I mean, I guess we could have the same hand.
458.
This is one of those times where if you're bluffing, I got to give you a nice play. You got me. I lay down the ace king.
Trip aces.
Big laydown.
People are giving me a lot of respect at this table, huh?
Now I know I made a good lay down. Wow. Wasn't sure if I made a good lay down until that comment. Whew. Good lay down, Robert. Good lay down.
Only Hogo knows that for sure as he stacks a couple 100,000 of Bellande's chips. Cheer up, Jean-Robert. You still have ammunition to play the game. Welcome back inside the Rio, where over at table 2 sits last year's Card Player Magazine Player of the Year, Eric Baldwin. He is joined by Adam Levy, who finished 48th in the 2008 main event. Also here is Russell Rosenblum, who finished 6th in 2002. The last woman left in the field, Bree Zuckerman, is here, as well as David Baker from Katy, Texas, who has cashed 7 times in this World Series. Action on Baldwin. Looks down at Pocket Queens.
The Wisconsin at Whitewater grad recently donated $200,000 to the school to pay for lights at its baseball field. The clubhouse is now named in his honor.
A raise to 38,000 to Rafael Sanz Rodrigo with Ace-Jack on the button.
I'm all in.
And the Spanish poker pro wants to play for all his chips. Action folds back around to Baldwin. He's got Baldwin covered. Baldwin calls all in with his queens.
Good luck.
Baldwin, a 2.5 to 1 favorite here to stick around.
Baldwin at risk. The flop is deuce 5-6.
It's clean flop, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Baldwin's still way ahead.
This is Baldwin's 12th World Series cash. It's the first for Sans Rodrigo.
Now the turn card, and Baldwin hits his queen, and that will end the hand as he doubles through Sans Rodrigo.
Sans Rodrigo now crippled, left with less than 10 big blinds.
Thank you.
Double ups are better than double plays.
Baldwin still with about half the chip average.
And it's just crazy that we're 200 left and we're still in.
From an original field of over 7,300, everyone still remaining should be very proud. Let's go out in the field. James Carroll is in a pot against Johnny Lawton on the turn. Action is on James Carroll.
You know, when the main event started, it looked to me to be an older field in recent years, but the older guys are gone. 20-somethings dominate the field. Baldwin's 27, Sans Rodrigo 26, Carroll's 24, Lawton is 25. The main event is a younger man's game than ever.
Carroll just bet $130,000 into the Norwegian Poker Pro, and Johnny Lawton will lay it down. Lawton says he had pocket nines. James Carroll shows ace queen of diamonds, top pair, top kicker, nut flush draw. It's all good.
The two young guns exchanging information with each other, filing it away for future use.
James Carroll closing in on the 3 million chip mark. Elsewhere, Joseph Cheong already has 3 million. He's a big favorite to knock out Gianluca Speranza, who's at risk with only a pair of aces. Cheong flopped aces up. The turn card keeps Cheong ahead.
And we're still very young here. Cheong 24, Speranza 23. Speranza needs a king.
It's a 4 on the river. Cheong will win, adds a $500,000 more chips to his stack, and knocks out Gianluca Speranza.
Joseph Cheong, South Korean born, moved to the United States when he was 6.
Not this time.
The young Joseph Cheong is the new main event chip leader with almost 4 million chips. Cheong, one of only a half dozen players over the 3 million chip mark. Just 196 players remain in the 2010 main event. Matt Affleck over at the feature table, also one of those over 3 million. Matt has chosen a purple Washington Huskies jersey from his collection today.
How's the Husky football team this year?
They'll be good this year. Got a Heisman Trophy winner this year.
Like the Heisman Trophy, the main event bracelet is the highest achievement in poker, one that Matt fell short of last year.
I get reminded all the time when I play in other tournaments around the world. People are, oh, you were chip leader in the main event. What happened?
Matt Affleck is once again the chip leader. He currently is over 2 million.
Last year, I walked out of the tournament thinking I blew the best opportunity in my life. I lost one big hand and I didn't handle it well. I wasn't able to stay composed and it definitely affected my play. I eventually got knocked out a few hours later. I went from 3 million chips to out in about 6 hours.
Matt Affleck has just been knocked out in 80th place.
This is the second time I've ever played the main event, and both times I was chip leader throughout day 4. I'm 10 times the player I am since last year. Biggest thing I learned from last year is this tournament is a marathon, it's not a sprint. The person who's going to win this tournament is the person who stays the most composed. I thought I'd never get this opportunity again, and here we are again 1 year later in the exact same spot. So we'll see if I can not blow all my chips this year.
He wants to avoid what he calls the Matt Affleck blow-up. And after last year, he says his mother just wants him to fold to the November 9.
I know you won't let that happen, Norman. Action on Jared Ingalls here, 23 years old, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with ace-10 of spades.
Before becoming a poker pro, he used to work with his grandfather, cutting and baling hay in Louisiana. 30 cents a bale.
$35,000 is the raise to Danny Chamberlain with pocket queens.
I honestly don't think he can see his whole cards from behind those shades. Take him off!
He re-raises to $85,000. Over to Affleck now on the button with ace-6.
When he was in college, Matt quit his job as a cashier and became an online grinder playing Sit and Goes. Those are usually one-table tournaments. He played 20 at a time, and he was good.
And he's going to 4-bet it. A re-raise to $200,000.
Matt, a little too active for my taste. He's got a weak ace. I wish he'd just muck it and check Mariner scores on his iPhone.
Ingalls folded. Chamberlain will call for $115,000 more.
Affleck got his finance degree at the University of Washington, but doesn't plan to look for work. He'd rather just bully people at the poker table.
Heads up to the flop. It's 8 tray 6. Chamberlain and his queens are still ahead. Affleck got a piece of that with middle pair.
These are the 2 biggest stacks at the table going head to head.
Chamberlain checked. Affleck now with a pair of 6s. 225,000.
Matt says he's a really good post-flop hand reader, and he usually is. Right now, Matt needs some reading glasses.
Chamberlain just calls with the best hand.
This could be the Matt Affleck blow-up in progress.
All right, turn card now. It's another tray. Affleck now a 9-1 dog. Chamberlain checks again. Affleck way behind. And now he puts on the brakes.
I think his mother whispered something in his ear.
River card is a 7 of hearts. Chamberlain with the check mark with his queens up. And he checks a 3rd time.
Don't do it, son. You're 23. I want you to live to see 24.
He does check. Chamberlain shows the winning hand.
Well, no blow up there for Matt, just a costly dust up.
Chamberlain did what he could to induce a blow up, but Matt Affleck would not oblige. So Chamberlain up to almost 2.4 million chips now. Affleck slowed down before he got too crazy, but he still took almost a 500,000 chip hit, and that's too much like last year for comfort. Welcome back inside the Rio and the main event. It's time for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Wildcard hand.
My motto is, Lon, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
All right, action will begin on Matt Affleck, and Matt looks down at King Trey, and he will sit out this wild card hand to amateur Brandon Steven, and he has the wild card hand.
Kansas businessman? He owns a bunch of car dealerships and health clubs.
Steven will raise to 41,000.
From the cutoff, I'm going to put him on ace-9 offsuit.
Nick Rainey in the small blind with pocket 8s.
He holds the record for most sit-and-goes in a month. 16,000, that's a lot of sitting and going.
That is a lot. He makes the call, and so it'll be heads up Rainey and Steven, the mystery hand.
We're talking 500 sit-and-goes a day, every day for a month.
Here's the flop. It is 10 King 9. Rainey sees 3 overcards to his pocket 8s. That can't sit too well with him.
That flop might have hit Steven with a hand like ace-9 or ace-10.
Rainey first to act. He's going to test the waters. 39,000.
500 sit-and-goes a day. That's 20 an hour every hour, and that's if you never sleep. How do you sit there that long? And when do you go?
Steven with the call with whatever hand he's got.
Well, Steven's got a pair, I think. He's not sure if it's good.
Tray of clubs on the turn. Rainey still with just the pocket 8s.
I think Steven's got like a pair of 9s or 10s, and he's afraid that the king hit Rainey.
Rainey is going to bet it again. 68,000 this time.
Rainey keeps betting like he's got better than pocket 8s.
Steven, well, must have something. He makes the call.
This is like a sit and go, except no one's going anywhere.
All right, the river card now.
King Jack or King Queen?
Oh, Rainey thinks Steven has kings.
There's a 7 of clubs on the river.
Either one of those good?
Yeah.
Rainey checks the 3rd club.
Rainey gives up.
Steven. Oh, no. He has chips in hand again. 107,000.
I was wrong again, Lon. Steven's got better than middle pair here. That smells like a value bet. And if Rainey trusts his earlier read, he's supposed to give this up.
Nick Rainey makes that call.
2 pair.
He says 2 pair. He shows 10-9. He flopped 2 pair.
That counts as a loss for me. What's new?
And Steven will win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Wild Card hand.
I was thinking he checked Queen Jack there. Would he check King Jack there? Would he check Queen Jack there?
It's one of those, you're gonna look like a hero or look like a total idiot hands and look like an idiot.
Nick, don't worry about looking like an idiot. It gets me into all the better restaurants.
Well, better luck next time, Nick Rainey. Better luck next time, Norman Chad. Out in the field to check in on OMG Clay Aiken or Phil Galfond. He just re-raised Ronnie Barta pre-flop. Barta, a 27-year-old poker pro from Massachusetts.
You gotta know I have a big hand. I think you do know that. I'm still shove over the top.
Watching Galfond on day 5 line was a treat, even though he was off his game, but he always handles himself well.
2 blackjacks.
Barta thinks he's beat and folds.
Barta knocked out Dan Harrington on day 4. The 27-year-old gives it up to the 25-year-old.
Phil happy to pick up any chips. He's about 300,000 below chip average. Over to his former tablemate, Filippo Candio. He's on a pot right now with Christopher George. Filippo checked. George bet 65,000.
Candio's pretty excitable. I don't think you can relax him. He might be massage-proof.
Candio with a check raised to 155,000 gets George to fold. And the Italian pro shows just ace high.
There you go. Candio shows a bluff. He's got a lot of game.
Candio picks up that pot, and he's hovering just around the chip average. Johnny Chan has been moved to a new table along with his 3 million plus chips. Robert Mizrachi is here as well. Action on Johnny right away. He's under the gun, and he's going to raise it up to 40,000.
He's been laying low so far here on day 6.
Action over to Rob Pisano, a 26-year-old living in Vegas, and he re-raises to 210,000. Back to Chan, who comes back over the top to 440,000.
Chan did not hesitate too long before making it a 4-bet.
So how will Pisano react to that from the two-time champ?
Come on, man. I call.
Pisano all in, and an immediate call from Chan. Pisano with aces, Chan with kings.
First hand, they just pull in.
Massive pot. Pisano looking to double up to the chip lead. Chan helpless here, poised to lose 3/4 of his chips.
First hand, I sit down. We just place.
Pisano's hooked the whale.
Almost 4.5 million chips in the pot, and that flop is no good for Chan.
I'm dead.
Turn card is a 7. Chan 1 card from a massive blow.
Chan has to have a king or Pisano doubles up big.
The river card is another 4, and just like that, Rob Pisano's the new chip leader, and Johnny Chan is decimated.
Chan runs into aces, and his main event runs into a ditch.
What a time for Pisano to get aces. Johnny Chan sits mum and stunned at the devastating turn of events. Once among the chip leaders, most of his chips are gone. Now it's time for Deal Me In, brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. Whether it's a main event with thousands of players or a circuit event with just 2 left, there's always something to be learned. During the 05 Atlantic City Circuit event, Eric Lindgren was heads up against amateur Henry Tran and facing a tough decision.
I pick up the queen 10 of hearts on the button. I just nuisance raised it to 40,000. I kind of wanted to play a small ball poker with Henry because he was an amateur. So Henry calls the raise.
Going to the flop, it comes out 6-4 queen, 2 queens for Eric Lindgren.
Real good flop for my hand. I have top pair. Henry surprises me and he bets out.
105,000. Oh man.
He likes to put chips into play.
One look at Henry and you know he's an action player. Pretty sure I'm ahead, so I raise him 175 more.
I'm Bonnie.
Oh, and Tran's gonna push it all in.
Really? You love me?
That's a big bet, man. I'm kind of talking to him, trying to get a little information. There's just no reason to believe that I'm behind in this hand. Let's go.
He's right to say let's go.
I need the.
Yeah, I know you got the 5-7. I knew it. The cards are coming, and he misses on the turn.
River card. Yes! Oh, he got the 3!
I'm happy with how I played the hand. And moral of the story, if you can't take bad beats, don't play poker. It's gonna happen.
Just 180 main event runners left, chasing that bracelet and trying to dodge the bad beats.
Well, Matt's mother wouldn't mind seeing him avoid any beats and hold on to his chips for a while.
Where are you from?
Alberta, Canada.
Yeah?
I'm a huge tennis fan. Never swung a racket in my life.
Nick Rainey, a former tennis pro who used to be Patrick Antonius' assistant. I knew I should have learned to play tennis.
All right, fold it over to Affleck. Ace 6 off.
Matt from Seattle is rotating between 7 Seattle jerseys during the main event. He needs to make it to day 7 so he can utilize every jersey.
A raise to 48,000. Christian Harder with pocket trays.
This is Harder's 7th cash at the World Series, and every previous one, he finished in the top 35.
The 22-year-old makes the call.
At this point of the main event line, if you're over 25, I guess you're on Medicare.
9-8-5. Harder still ahead. Affleck picked up a gut shot. Matt first to act.
Here comes Affleck, the aggressor.
He needs a 7 for a straight, betting his draw 65,000.
Matt says he tries to control his opponents, get them to do what he wants them to do. I imagine he wants Harder to fold right here.
Harder makes the call.
Harder says, I know you can have anything, buddy. I'm sticking with you.
Turn card now. is an ace, and that puts Matt in the captain's chair with a pair of aces.
Well, Matt's aggression on the flop was not rewarded, but the turn rewards him with a gift ace.
And he's going to bet it again, of course. 115,000. Harder's going to lay it down.
Give Harder credit there. He did not put in a penny when he was behind.
Affleck takes that pot from Harder. He's back over $3 million.
I wouldn't mind seeing Matt in a suit. Tony Dunce could help him.
Back into the field where another $4 million chip pot has been built. Two players were at risk pre-flop. Manique Lucier standing is all in with pocket sixes. John May has pocket aces. John Racener just flopped a set of queens to send the two of them reeling.
Three pocket pairs collide, and John May's pocket ace is about to be cracked.
The turn card now is a king. Lucier now drawing dead. His main event is over. May needs a miracle.
May needs a river ace to survive.
It's another king, and Racener with queens full scores that huge pot, knocking out two opponents.
Two 21-year-olds to the rail, and a grizzled 24-year-old John Racener takes all their chips.
And the 2010 main event has a new chip leader. Welcome John Racener to the top of the leaderboard.
I don't care if he's the chip leader, Lon. He's got to fix that cap.
At another table, World Series bracelet winner David Benjamin was all in with kings. The turn card has former chip leader Evan Lamprey drawing dead, and Benjamin will double up.
Courtesy double up. Lamprey gives up about 13% of his big stack there, and trust me, no one in the room wants to see Benjamin get a lot of chips in front of him.
To the grinders table now.
This is my best hand I have the whole World Series.
He's in a hand on the river with Peter Jetton. Action to Peter.
You know, Peter Jedden looks so much happier on his Peter Jedden button. Poker is a grind.
After a third club fell on the river, Jetton bets about half the pot, 225,000. And Mizrachi, the aggressive grinder, raises to 600,000.
So you couldn't sell a Peter Jedden button with that sad mug on it.
And Jetton surrenders. Mizrachi will stack the winnings.
Maybe it was the best hand grinder had the whole World Series.
Peter Jetton looks like he was blindsided. Michael over $2.5 million now. Nearby, Michael's older brother Robert is all in and ahead with ace-queen against the big stack of Rob Pisano and his ace-tray.
Robert and Michael each has made 3 final tables at this World Series, and now with the main event dwindling, Robert and Michael Mizrachi are still here. It's remarkable.
And Robert flops Broadway.
Which means Robert will survive his all-in.
10 Jack King.
They could still split the pot if a queen comes.
Flop the nuts?
Flop the nuts.
He's ahead.
Turn card is another king. Pisano still looking for a chop.
Pisano would need a queen to make Broadway 2 and split the pot.
The river card. A tray, and Robert Mizrachi hangs in there. He still has plenty of wood to chop, though.
My favorite hand.
I think he's mocking me. He knows that's my least favorite hand.
Robert flops the nuts and will stick around.
Must be nice.
175 left, and still two Mizrachis as day 6 of the main event rolls on. Welcome back to the Rio, over to table 2, where Eric Basebaldy Baldwin is sitting by as David Baker with pocket sevens called an all-in from Paul Evans, who shoved with a suited ace-5.
The right call, regardless of the turn.
Baker, a poker pro with 20 World Series cashes. Evans, a California business owner, high school track coach, and poker pro, has 10 World Series cashes.
Don't knock out my San Jose Sharks fan. 8 tray queen. Evans gets no help.
Take a 3 on the turn.
Baker is 38 years old. Evans 46. This is like senior on senior violence at this main event.
Turn card now. 5 of clubs. Evans paired his 5, which gives him a couple more outs.
Your San Jose Sharks fan, however, is all but out of here, Lon.
River card.
Queen of clubs on the river.
Evans needs an ace or a 5.
It's a king of diamonds. Baker will win the hand. Paul Evans eliminated in 173rd place.
There's a call I don't make every day.
The Sharks often finish in 173rd, don't they?
Yeah, just like my Sharks, they get close, but never the gold ring. David Baker from Texas is not David Bakes Baker. He claims to be the original David Baker since he's older than Bakes.
But Bakes was the one who won a bracelet this year.
Over now to the feature table. Nick Rainey in a hand with Christian Harder, who raised to 48,000 with Jack 7 offsuit. Rainey made the call with King 9 off from the big blind. They're waiting for the flop.
2 players with nothing, like you and me, Lon, in a singles bar.
The flop 10, Queen 4. Rainey with a King high gut shot. Harder left with Jack high. Rainey checks.
They still got nothing.
Harder is going to bet his no pair, 62,000.
Harder thinks he can turn nothing into something.
Rainey, with his better no pair because of his overcard, calls.
They're playing poker, Lon. Both are fishing without bait. And we're still in that singles bar with nothing.
Turn card is another 10. Rainey's still best. Rainey looking at his chips, and that gets Harder's full attention.
84?
84,000.
It looks like Rainey was calling the flop to bluff the turn. And Christian Harder's hand is not worth a cup of warm spit. So this should be over.
Harder, posturing maybe a little bit, does finally lay it down.
And we're still in that singles bar line with just a couple empty mugs of beer.
And Christian Harder gives up a few chips to Nick Rainey.
I don't do the whole all-in thing. You know, I'm a small ball, just super net.
Nick Rainey is a pro athlete turned pro poker player who took a unique path to eventually finding this competitive game.
I played professional tennis out of college and then won 14 pro titles and traveled around the world, but I got a little tired of the travel, so got a gig here in Vegas teaching tennis at the Hilton. I was in the right place at the right times and met a couple well-known poker players and was able to get a job as Patrick Antonius' personal assistant. That was my job, to just make his life as easy as possible so he could focus on his family and playing games. And in the back of my head, the goal was to really learn poker. Meeting Patrick, you could not meet a better guy, and he had full access to always watch him play, give me his thoughts on why he did what he did, and I could definitely appreciate how hard it is to become that great at poker. And one of the things I learned the most from him is how much work goes into it.
Good game.
Thanks. Patrick, you know, he did good. He made the money, but hopefully I can take it down and make him proud.
Yo, Patrick, you out there? My number's 555-5555. I'll wash your car, I'll do your dry clean, I'll even shave your head. Call me!
Out in the field where the shift of power can be felt at Johnny Chan's stable after he suffered that staggering loss of most of his chips to Rob Pisano. Both Pisano and Chan are sitting by as a hand is in progress there.
Oh my God, me.
Theo Tran exposed his hand to the table, ace-5. We didn't see the suits. Jonathan Driscoll had raised pre-flop.
Well, Tran thought Driscoll was all in, so he flipped over his cards. He exposed his hand, and even though it was accidental, he will get a penalty.
Tran forced to just call. His hand is not dead. The flop, ace-4, 5. He hits aces up.
Tran probably would prefer if Driscoll didn't know that, but Theo's given him a personal hole card cam.
Driscoll can't beat aces up and folds out of turn.
Well, good news for Theo, he wins the pot, but the bad news, he lost an opportunity to maybe double up, and now he has to sit out one round because he exposed his cards.
Elsewhere, Jean-Robet Bellande in a hand against Pascal Lefrancois, who bet the flop with the nut flush draw. Jean-Robert calls with top pair. Turn card is a jack. Lefrancois picked up a straight draw.
Lefrancois, another young gun, 23-year-old bracelet winner from Quebec.
Checked over to him. And he's going to bet it, 150,000. And Jean-Robert comes along.
Jean-Robert now has check called him on the flop and the turn.
Lefrancois missed his draws. Bellande with the check mark and checks.
I think he's saying 3. It's 325.
Lefrancois will bet at 325,000. More heat.
Well, as you mentioned, he had missed his flush. He missed his straight. He fires out again. Jean-Robert asking himself, what can I beat? Bellande with one pair. Lefrancois bet every step of the way.
I call.
Bellande makes the call with the 10s, and it will be a profitable call.
Yeah, it looked like a bad call, but it is a good call. Give Jean-Robert credit. He frustrates Lefrancois.
Boys, I'm stubborn. Good call, sir. Good call? What are you talking about? That's a terrible call. I don't even have top pair. That's a terrible call.
Good read in that case.
I'm just a donkey, and you can't bluff a donkey. That's the first thing that they taught me in poker. Because you can't bluff the donkey, don't even bother.
Bellande approaching 2 million chips here on day 6. There are the two remaining Mizrachis. Robert not doing so well. Grinder with a lot of chips.
Go get him.
The Mizrachi tandem, not the only brothers who went deep in this main event. Matt Kakawant was eliminated earlier today. His brother Todd finished in 421st. Over to table 2, Eric Baldwin is sitting by as Russell Rosenblum is all in and ahead on the flop against Brian Jensen. Russell's deuces against Jensen's ace-king.
Rosenblum 6th at the main event when Robert Varconi won in 2002, and he half jokes that he's been running bad ever since.
That 7 puts a straight draw on the board and brings a chop into play.
Rosenblum well ahead, but he's willing to bargain for a chop pot. He's rooting for a 10.
That's how risk-averse I am. I'll take the 10.
Only an ace or a king knocks out Rosenblum.
The river is the king. Jensen spikes the winner to send Russell Rosenblum out the door.
Boy, the man says he's running bad. He just ran bad.
The 40-year-old local player Russell Rosenblum gone in 169th place. Out in the field, it seems former chip leader Rob Pisano's at it again. With ace-10, he called the all-in of Randall Tagawa holding ace-king. Pisano paired his kicker on the turn, and with that blank on the river, Pisano is stacking chips again.
So Tagawa is gone. Pisano has a master's in chemical engineering, and right now the 26-year-old pro is mastering the main event.
He adds another $1 million to his stack, and once again is the chip leader with more than $5.6 million.
And Johnny Chan's thinking, a lot of those chips over there used to be mine.
Johnny knows you don't own any chips until the final card is dealt. You're just renting. Johnny has fallen off the leaderboard. His nemesis, Rob Pisano, has shot to the top. John Racener and Joseph Cheong amongst the leaders, as is amateur Michael Skinder. The chip average almost $1.4 million. Matt Affleck at our feature table has not added a lot onto his chip stack today, but remains in 7th place. Nick Rainey started day 6 with nearly $950,000 and is now up to $1.1 million, still below the chip average. Action on Danny Chamberlain. And on the Jack Link's beef jerky pocket, Cam Chamberlain has 8 deuce of hearts.
I love beef jerky.
24-year-old Denver poker pro, reaching for chips with 8 deuce, a raise to $44,000.
Under the gun +1 lawn is the new hijack.
Affleck would have Chamberlain dominated, but he folds his suited 8-4.
Matt's mother and I both happy he folded.
Brandon Steven with pocket 7s.
Steven has 5 children, and all of them are telling him to play the pocket 7s.
From the cutoff seat, he makes the call. Over to Jordan Siegel now. Siegel will not play. Nick Rainey in the small blind. Rainey with pocket 10s.
I think Matt's mother and Patrick Antonius would tell him to raise with those 10s.
44?
44.
Sounds like a call to me. Kostiuk in the big blind now with 6-5, and he won't play, so 3 players will see the flop. Chamberlain wondering, what have I done?
Both Steven and Rainey respecting the early position raise of Chamberlain, who has 8 deuce.
Here's the flop, 9-7 ace. Steven flops a set. Rainey first to act, his 10's now way behind, and he checks. Chamberlain.
And here comes the class bully holding squadouche.
Yeah, he bets $63,000. One problem with that. The set of Steven with a smooth call.
And Steven hoping Chamberlain has an ace, because then he's hooked.
Rainey. One last look at his 10s. Yeah, he folds.
Rainey gets out of the way without any major damage.
So heads up now.
Take the shades off, son, and you shall see the light.
Turn card is a 10. Hey, Nick, your set of 10s called you weren't home.
He did the right thing. It doesn't feel like it at the moment.
Chamberlain with an up and down straight draw. Chamberlain continues to be aggressive. That's enough to put Steven all in, over $500,000.
I'm all in.
And Steven calls.
Well, Chamberlain's line on this hand was, I can muscle out the smaller stack. Chamberlain's aggression might have worked if Steven only had a pair.
So Steven in control with the set. Chamberlain needing to hit his draw to take this hand away.
Can I do the Norman Chad? Wow, I bet Rainey wishes he called. He would have turned a set.
Actually, we leave that stupid stuff for Lon. By the way, does my voice sound like that?
A little bit.
Well, Chamberlain looking to put a nasty beat on Steven. He needs a 6 or a jack to knock him out.
The river card now is a 5, and Steven doubles up and a bit more thanks to the kindness of Danny Chamberlain and Nick Rainey.
Well, no real emotion from either side, but Brandon Stevens' heart has got to be pumping.
He will happily take those chips as Nick Rainey is left to bemoan his laydown. Bad beats you can't control, but a regrettable fold will stick with you a long time. Welcome back. Pro basketball player Michael Skinder has Jesse Martin at risk at one of the outer tables. Skinder flopped a king to overtake the queens of Martin.
Martin with 5 cashes at this World Series, 16 lifetime.
Turn card's a 7, no help to Martin.
Martin needs a queen.
4.
Thank you, Michael. A 4 will send Jesse Martin on his way.
Oh, hey, nice.
Martin wins over $57,000, going out in 157th place.
All the way, baby.
Skinder appears to be a better poker player than Charles Barkley.
How about that amateur with over 4 million chips? And Robert Mizrachi's raking in more chips, though barely hanging in there, well below chip average. Little bro Grinder in a big pot on the river against Dewey Lay. Grinder has the check mark with pocket sevens. Lay bet 500,000 with jack high.
Lay missed his straight, trying to bluff Grinder off his motley pair.
Big decision for Grinder here. Makes that call. And Dewey Lay's busted straight draw is going to cost him, and the Grinder wins another big pot.
I'm writing a song about the Mizrachis, Lon. It's called We Are the World Series of Poker.
Michael's wife, Lily, in the background looks concerned, but don't worry, Mrs. Grinder, your man's raking in more chips.
Lily told me she told Grinder he was going to have a great World Series. She says she's psychic. Until this year, the World Series, usually a struggle for Michael Mizrachi.
Michael, just shy of 4 million, is fourth in chips right now. Back to the feature table. Matt Affleck sits with about 1 million less than Grinder now, but still with a top 10 chip stack. Action is on Matt. Pocket eights.
Matt says his style is perfect for the main event. Play a lot of hands and keep them guessing.
This is Matt's fourth World Series cash, one of which is in Raz. He raises it up to 48,000. Nick Rainey on the button. Ace King.
44 again?
48.
48.
I think Nick would have had a better tennis career if he played without the hoodie. Look at Sampras, look at Federer. No hoodies.
He makes the call. Not only was Nick a personal assistant to Patrick Antonius, but also to poker pro Andrew Roble.
You can have that job.
Gary Kostiuk in the small blind with ace deuce of clubs.
You know, Matt is aggressive. Nick is active. I don't know if the amateur wants to play out of position against the aggressive guy and the active guy.
Kostiuk folds his weak ace. So heads up, Rainey and Affleck. And the flop is, oh, what a flop for a tennis player. Ace, ace, 7. Rainey flops trips.
Kostiuk doesn't realize how fortunate he is to be out of the hand.
Affleck with 2 pair and way behind. He's first to act. He loves to bet. Knows the odds are against Rainey having an ace. 65,000.
Aggressive.
Rainey with a big hand. Just a call.
Active, but not aggressive, and a little slow.
Third card now is a deuce, and oops, Kostiuk folded what would now be a full house. No help to Affleck there, and he does slow down.
Passive.
Rainey with a 95% hand. That's 93,000.
Active and aggressive, and well, he's pretty certain he has the best hand.
I don't think Matt can stick around. And he does finally surrender.
Yeah, well, Matt was behind the guy in the hand and the guy out of the hand.
I folded ace deuce.
Charter, you know I'm a flush master.
You a flush? I had ace deuce clubs.
Jack ten of spades.
Oh, you had
Ace king, ace king.
ace deuce. I really want to.
I had ace deuce clubs.
You can show him.
I would have called if you jammed.
Matt's saying he would have called an all-in earlier in the hand.
You had ace king? Good fold.
Good fold indeed.
A well-deserved pat on the back for Matt Affleck. And it's Gary Kostiuk now who's left wondering what could have been. Down to only 253,000 chips, while Nick Rainey, who started the day with 953,000, is up to almost 1.3 million. Back to the field, the once high-flying former champ Johnny Chan has all his chips in the middle, just over 500,000. His pocket jacks way behind the aces of Jonathan Driscoll.
Chan has run into a buzzsaw and is about to be busted. First his kings run into aces, now his jacks run into aces.
2 big hands for Johnny today run into 2 bigger hands. And now the flop. It is Trey 6-7, all blanks for Johnny Chan.
Chan was sailing along with 3 million chips, and 2 hands are going to sweep him out of here.
Turn card's a 5. Johnny still with hope.
Chan needs a jack or a 4, or his main event is over.
The river card is a Trey, and Johnny Chan's main event is over, amazingly enough.
This game is cruel, Lon. 2 big pocket pairs, 2 devastating losses, and now hopes for a third main event title are gone.
Driscoll sends the 2-time main event champ out of the Rio in 156th place.
156th place from Torino, California, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Chan.
Johnny Chan busted? Whoa. He had 2.6.
Matt Affleck knows that feeling well. Let that be a warning to all the other big stacks in the room. And day 6 of the 2010 main event is going strong. What was once a sea of poker tables has shrunk to 17. And with every all-in, there's a chance the field will get even smaller.
Hey guys.
2 of the brothers Mizrachi were on the wrong end of those 2 words, but 2 others are still in the hunt, as are 2 great young pros, Eric Baldwin and Phil Galfond, and the ultimate survivor, Jean-Robet Bellande.
You got some chips now.
With only 155 players remaining, every seat is filled by a potential main event champion. At the feature table, Matt Affleck, who was knocked out on day 6 last year, is still looking to complete some unfinished business, but to do it, he'll have to continue to fight off the serve and volley of former tennis pro Nick Rainey.
It's a little bit more money in this thing than the U.S. Open or Wimbledon or anything. I could still make Wimbledon. If someone will give me a prop bet in doubles, I could make it for sure.
How much training would you have to do to get back?
Not too much really in doubles. Like, you don't half the court. It's not a ton of room. Doubles is just being right place, right time.
No, this is the right place. This is the right time. This is the main event. This is someone's chance for $9 million.
Matt Affleck, the one-time chip leader from Seattle, so far enjoying his 2nd straight deep run at the main event on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam. King 9 offsuit. Matt will watch from the sidelines. Fold it over to Russian pro Sergei Rybachenko. He'll lay it down. Now, Nick Rainey.
This dwindling field has very few amateurs left, very few players left over the age of 30.
Rainey folds to Gary Kostiuk, who fills both those categories, Norman. He's 49 and an amateur. He folds King Trey. Now over to Danny Chamberlain in the small blind. Chamberlain with Queen 7 off.
This guy is the master of massive no-limit fields this year at the World Series. He was 60th in an event with 3,000 players, 54th in an event with 3,300, and now this.
Nobody in the pot so far, so it's a good time for any 2 cards in the small blind. He raises to 50,000. In the big blind, Gabriel Nassif with pocket 8s.
He attended the Institute of Mathematics of Jussieu in Paris. I believe they are Le Rambling Wreck.
And he makes the call with that pocket pair.
Danny Chamberlain thinks mathematics is cool.
The flop is Trey 6-6, Nassif with 2 pair now, still best.
Chamberlain has shown us the willingness to play any 2 cards and bet at any flop, anytime, anywhere, anyhow, for any reason.
There's a continuation donation of 60,000.
Nassif has a Magic the Gathering background, and in Magic, you would call this flop.
And he does. And he's got the best hand. Turn card now is an ace. Nassif still way ahead. Neither player has an ace.
Chamberlain putting on his thinking cap. I believe it's on backwards.
How good a salesman is he? 120,000.
Chamberlain also has shown us the willingness to bet at any turn, anytime, anywhere, anyhow, for any reason.
Nassif makes the call.
Of course, with Nassif's math background, he knows there's a 1 in 3 chance Danny Chamberlain is full of hooey.
All right, a river card. Deuce of spades. Nassif with his pocket 8s earns the check mark.
Here comes Queen High.
Chamberlain, same bet, 120,000.
Chamberlain has also shown a willingness to bet at any river, anytime, anywhere, anyhow, for any reason, with absolutely positively no chance of having the best hand. And you know what? It just might work. He bluffs in the form of a value bet, and Nassif can't beat much.
Nassif trying to get a read on Chamberlain and makes the call, and his stubbornness pays off.
I love how Chamberlain turns over Queen 7 like, what'd you expect?
Look at Nassif. He is quite relieved. Chamberlain put a shovel in his own hands pre-flop and dug deeper on every street.
Thank you.
And to his credit, Nassif went with his read, stuck to his guns, and inflates his chip stack, and remains one of the fortunate few still with a shot at poker glory. Norman, with just about 150 players remaining, we are left with a field of mostly unfamiliar names in what for them is uncharted territory. But as we've learned over the last few years, the main event is less about living up to your reputation and more about defining it.
Lon, if you've made the final 150, you can make the November 9. At this point last year, Joe Cata was an unknown college dropout, and Darvin Moon was an unknown, unbelievable logger. Now they are main event immortals. Someone here will indeed become the next Joe Cata, but actually there is no one out there who even remotely resembles Darvin Moon. Let's face facts. They broke the mold with that guy.
Darvin was the chip leader on day 6 last year. This year, at least for now, Rob Pisano is at the top, the only man above $5 million. Michael Mizrachi just under 4, Matt Affleck just over $3 million. The average stack $1.5 million. Let's check in on Pisano, who is poised to get even richer with pocket deuces. He called the all-in of Theo Tran holding ace-7.
A couple of Las Vegas pros, Pisano 26, Tran is 28.
Robert Mizrachi at this table looking on. Now here's the flop. It is 4-Jack-9. Pisano's deuces keep the hammer.
Tran's made 4 World Series final tables. This is Pisano's first World Series cash. He's trying to make it count big time.
Turn card is a tray, no help to Theo Tran.
And Tran running out of time. He needs an ace or a 7 or he is gone.
And the river card. Oh, he got his ace! Tran waits until the very last second to survive and double up.
Pisano reorganizes his big stack. And Theo Tran, 125th at last year's main event, still with a chance to better that finish at this year's main event.
So Pisano doubles up Theo Tran.
Ace on the river. Thank you, Barry Greenstein.
And of course, a reference to Barry's famous book of the same name. All 4 Mizrachi brothers cashed in this main event. 2 are still in it. Michael dueling with one-time chip leader Dewey Lay after the river.
Lay graduated from UC Davis, dropped out of UCLA Law School. He's mostly an online player.
600,000 is the bet.
2 big stacks clashing here.
How will Mizrachi react to that?
$2 million.
Grinder raises to $2 million.
And Lay looks like he's disgusted. He just gave up 600,000 chips.
And lays his hand down. And Michael Mizrachi will stack his chips, and that will give Mizrachi the chip lead here on day 6.
It's pretty amazing, Lon. Mizrachi was nursing a small stack earlier at this main event for a good while, and now he's the biggest stack in the room.
What a day 6 he has had. At another table, bracelet winner and one-time chip leader Phil Galfond with pocket 6s has a tough decision. He is faced with a pre-flop re-raise, and his opponent is giving nothing away. Galfond's antagonist is Josua Sova Joe with pocket jacks.
Now I feel like if I fold, I'm letting everybody down.
Galfond's been downtrending for a while now. Sova Joe perhaps seeking the meaning of life.
Okay, I'm all in.
And Galfond moves all in.
Sova Joe has been awakened just in time to make a decision.
And he has Galfond covered.
I call.
And makes the call with his jacks. And Galfond reveals to the table
Nice hand. Good luck.
that he's in trouble.
Galfond in trouble, but upbeat in the face of being knocked out.
So Galfond, a top performer in both online and live games, in danger. The flop king, 10-5. That's about as bad a flop as he could fear.
I don't even want to, see that.
See what?
I don't want to get too honored.
I don't know if the flop could have been any better. He's like,
It could have been.
Sova Joe expecting the worst. Geez, he should put his head back down.
The turn card, deuce of diamonds. Phil Galfond down to perhaps his final river card.
Galfond now 1 card away from elimination by Sova Joe. Only a 6 saves Phil Galfond.
The river card is a king, and that will do it. Phil Galfond eliminated from the 2010 main event. A nice bounty there for Sova Joe.
And one of the game's best says goodbye.
Galfond was the first player this year to break the 2 million chip mark, but now he's gone. He was fun to watch. Phil Galfond making his way out of the Rio, where only 140 players remain in this main event, and 2 of them happen to be brothers. Chip leader Michael Mizrachi visiting with his brother Robert and Theo Tran.
I don't think the Mizrachis should discuss family business with outsiders.
At this point of the tournament, Norman, it's amazing to find anybody still left from your own hometown, much less your own home. What a story that is. Meanwhile, back to table 2. The last woman still playing is Bree Zuckerman, a journalist turned life coach from California. Breeze looks down at ace-queen.
At the first tournament she ever played, Breeze met Barbara Enright, the only woman to make a main event final table. They became friends, and Barbara became Breeze's poker mentor.
She raises to 61,000 to Walter Salas from the original Rio de Janeiro, that is. Ace-7 into the mug.
But here's my annual question, Lon. Where are all the women? Only 3% of main event entrants were women. 3%? This isn't a boys' club. There are no restrictions, no qualifications, no testosterone needed. Anyone can play.
I agree. Over to former college baseball star Eric Baldwin in the small blind with pocket 10s.
Baldwin has a psychology degree from Wisconsin at Whitewater. Bree Zuckerman is studying for her master's in psychology at California Lutheran.
51,000 is the call from Baldwin. He'll go heads up with Zuckerman. Jack, deuce, ace. Zuckerman hits a race to grab the lead.
Not a single woman won a bracelet this year in an open event, Lon. You know, it's not that hard to outwit a man.
Baldwin checks.
Hey, if you're a woman out there and you can hear the sound of my voice, come play in the main event.
Zuckerman will let Baldwin see a free turn card. It's a king. Zuckerman still with a big advantage.
Baldwin's a man, and I'll bet you he might not even know he picked up a straight draw.
Oh, he did?
61.
Baldwin needs a queen for a straight. Zuckerman now with the ace.
61.
Reaching for chips, 61,000.
61? I guess she's a big Roger Maris fan.
Back to Eric Baldwin, who certainly knows that number.
As you said, he played baseball.
He lays it down, and Zuckerman will take that pot.
Ladies out there, see how easy it is? Men are pushovers.
With that win, Zuckerman owns almost 1 million chips. Baldwin lays that one down, but he knows as well as anyone that you do not need to bat 1,000 to be successful.
I guess I was kind of your everyday American kid story, like grew up watching Major League Baseball, and that's what I wanted to be. I went to the University of Wisconsin at Whitewater. Won a Division III national championship my senior year. After I was done with baseball, there was this huge void in my life, like, well, now what? And I was really fortunate to find poker because it really filled in a lot of those things that were missing in my life.
Appreciate it.
There's a lot of similarities with poker and baseball, like preparation and hard work end up leading to success.
All in.
A goal of mine was always to win a bracelet, and I was fortunate enough to accomplish that last year. And then a week later, I ended up with a third place. If you'd told me that I'd be in this position 5 years ago when I first started playing, I would have thought you were crazy. But it's been just a super fun ride, and I really hope it continues.
Baldwin's been below chip average most of this main event, but says he's zoned in and primed to go very deep.
All right, from the baseball guy to the other stick and ball guy, former tennis pro Nick Rainey sitting at our featured table. Rainey, 29, from West Hollywood, California. And he has ace-queen off.
And Rainey once was a tennis pro at the Las Vegas Hilton. That's what I love about this town. 24-hour room service, around-the-clock gambling. The concierge can hook you up with Cirque du Soleil tickets or a tennis coach.
A raise to 47,000 to the amateur Kostiuk. Trey deuce, and he folds.
Or you can come to the Rio, great buffet, meet Penn and Teller, play in the World Series, and go home with $9 million.
All right, folded. Round two, Matt Affleck. He's in the big blind.
Where else can you find $9 million on a vacation?
Ace-10 offsuit.
Matt last year had a chance for the big prize. He imploded. Now he's got another chance this year.
Affleck called for 27,000 more. He'll go heads up with Rainey, who goes undercover. The flop is Jack 4-5. That misses both. Rainey with ace-queen still has the best hand. Affleck first to act, and he checks.
Affleck with one of the more measured and mellow checks I have seen in my 50 years in the business, Lon.
Rainey checks behind him. Turn card is a 7. Neither improves. Who wants it? To Affleck.
Affleck's checks, Lon, are as smooth as butter, and ironically, you know he's dying to bet.
So Rainey now decides to see what happens when he bets 53,000.
Rainey goes with the wicked cross-court backhand.
Affleck, will he counter? He does call.
And Lon, I didn't think Matt could cover that much ground, but he got to it.
River card is a king. Rainey with his ace-queen has the check mark.
Well, let's see if either one can hit a winner here from the baseline. It's a squadouche fest.
Another check from Matt.
That check is hypnotic.
King 6 got there.
Rainey checks.
Check. Ace high.
Ace high is good, but not your ace high, Matt. Rainey will win it with his ace-queen.
It's the one ace high that beat me.
Matt, where was your trademark aggression? You let him off. Bet the river and it would have been game, set, and match.
I got some crowd.
Fired up.
Supposed to scream, you guys. Let's go, let's go.
What, that hand's gonna get a standing ovation?
Cheering is allowed and encouraged.
Yeah.
Applause or no, Nick Rainey has to feel good about taking that pot with no pair. Every chip is so valuable at the main event. Back inside the Rio, fewer than 140 players remain in the 2010 main event. Robert Mizrachi, one of them. He just moved all in with pocket sevens against Manuel Davidian's ace-queen. Two of Robert's brothers and his sister-in-law looking on. Both the brothers have been knocked out. Lily's been watching the whole family the entire way. All of Robert's chips at risk. The flop deuce 6 king. Robert's pocket sevens keep him ahead.
This is the third time in 4 years Robert has cashed in the main event. This is his best showing yet.
All right, turn card with Mizrachi at risk is another king.
Robert Mizrachi all in, but doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Davidian needs an ace or a queen to knock out Mizrachi.
The river card's a trade. Davidian comes up short. Kings and sevens pump a little life into Robert Mizrachi's chances.
Team Mizrachi, get lucky.
How do you explain these indestructible Mizrachis? I guess it could be steroids.
Robert up to almost 900,000 on the full tilt tournament ticker. Here's a look at some of the best main event finishes by siblings. Howard Lederer and Annie Duke outlasted 96% of the field in 03. The Bilzerians, 98% last year. The Mizrachis are at 98% right now in this, the second largest main event field in history.
It's nice to get aces once in a while. It's even nicer if they hold up.
The aces belong to Jean-Robet Bellande. He has David Peters on the ropes and in danger of elimination. Peters with a pair of kings.
I don't even want an ace. I want a deuce of spades.
Turn card. Well, he got his ace.
Yeah, sorry, Jean-Robet. That makes you a 91% favorite now. Peters now with a Broadway draw needs a jack to stick around.
The river card. There's the deuce, and Jean-Robet will take another pot and eliminate David Peters.
Peters, a 23-year-old Ohio pro with his third World Series cash.
He made a final table this year. He scores $57,000.
Nice when the best hand holds up, let me tell you. Very, very nice.
I wonder, has Jean-Robet ever been behind in a hand and then beaten somebody? I'll have to check my records.
As David Peters' exit is announced, let's get back to the featured table.
You should just announce their online names so we know who they are.
Norman, I'm not sure saying Surf Puppy 91 has been eliminated will go over too well.
My first ex-wife's mother plays online?
All right, action on Danny Chamberlain.
44.
Danny missed the whole card cam, but raises to 44,000.
He doesn't even care what his cards are anymore.
Affleck lays down.
He's laying low. Maybe we can sneak him into the November 9 without him playing another hand.
Rapachenko with pocket queens.
This is his third cash at this World Series.
Having a good run here this year. He says he learned to play poker by watching it on TV.
If he was watching us, I don't see how that's possible.
He re-raises to 115,000. Over to Gary Kostiuk now. Gary looks down at ace-king.
I raise all in.
And he moves all in for over 400,000 chips. Jared Ingles in the big blind lays it down. Chamberlain folds, so back to Rybachenko.
I still don't think Chamberlain even looked at his cards.
Rybachenko with the queens makes the call to put Kostiuk at risk.
Queen's ace king. I got ace king.
Gary updating his son Ryan on the proceedings.
Kostiuk, diagnosed with MS 3 years ago, playing in his first ever live tournament here.
It's been a good week for me, guys. It's been a good week. Nice playing, Miss Charter.
It's not over yet, Gary.
You know I'm going to win this hand, eh?
It's all about confidence.
I'm going to win this hand.
Does he even have a chance?
No, I'm crushing him. He's crushed.
6 of diamonds.
Rybachenko's been put on notice.
Here's the flop. Kostiuk at risk. 8-10-7. Rybachenko thinks who's crushing who.
There's my 8 of hearts, Ryan. There's my 8 of hearts, buddy.
Kostiuk, though, is running out of cards.
The last 2 times I was all in and one when I was behind, I had runner hearts.
That would work for him here. Turn card is the king of diamonds. Who needs hearts? Kostiuk catches his king.
Rybachenko had been forewarned. Told he was going to be crushed. He's in the process of being crushed. He'll now need a queen to send Gary Kostiuk home.
And now the river card. It is a deuce, and Kostiuk doubles up to almost $1 million.
You know, Gary Kostiuk wasn't ready to leave, and, well, he doesn't have to leave yet.
400. Who do I run like? King! Woo!
Amateur Gary Kostiuk enjoying the ride of his first main event. Back at the Rio for day 6 of the 2010 main event, where Gary Kostiuk is still savoring his double-up at the hands of Russian poker pro Sergei Rybachenko, allowing Gary to finally creep towards 1 million chips.
I've been waiting for this double-up for 3 days.
It's rarely easy at the main event, but Kostiuk has been fighting a much more difficult battle away from the table.
I've been diagnosed with a very progressive form of multiple sclerosis. And I think my prognosis is very poor, to be honest. Getting dressed is difficult. I can't stand any longer. I'm starting to lose dexterity in my hands, so that even for keyboard and click a mouse sometimes gets fatiguing. Just don't spill them, because I had trouble stacking them. Thanks very much, sweetie. I'm in pretty big time trouble here in the next 2 to 5 years. Poker keeps my mind sharp. I'm very, very passionate about it. It truly was on my bucket list to come and play in the World Series of Poker, and this has been one of the most amazing weeks of my life. I raised all in. My first goal was to cash. And then, of course, as the week went on, I just basically decided to take step-by-step goals and try and make the very next date. It's been more than I could have ever dreamed of, and I'm living that dream, basically living that dream. It's been wonderful.
Gary gained entry into the main event by winning a satellite tournament and now being guaranteed more than $57,000. He's more than made back his $330 investment. Action continues here at the featured table. The antes are $3,000, the blinds $10,000 and $20,000. Christian Harder on the Jack Links Beef Jerky Pocket Cam, ace 5 suited.
He made back-to-back European Poker Tour final tables in 2008. He's also made a WPT final table.
And he raises to $47,000 from UTG or under the gun. Over to Brandon Stephen with pocket sevens.
He started rebuilding and selling used cars as a teenager, and he now owns a bunch of car dealerships.
This is his second World Series cash. $47,000 is the call to Kostiuk. Ace Queen of Spades.
He's gotten some coaching from Ari Engel and David Shikotsky.
And Gary wants to put his newly won chips to work, and $47,000 is the call from him. Over to the big blind, Matt Affleck. He went from $3 million to $0 in just about 6 hours on day 6 last year. King Jack off.
You hate King Jack, but you gotta love 7-1 on a call. $27,000 to Matt. The pot is almost $200,000.
So Matt and 3 other players will see a flop. Brandon Stephen, the only pocket pair, his pocket sevens in the lead right now. The flop is Trey ace 6. Kostiuk now best with the bigger ace. Harder, a 14% hand with the weaker ace. Stephen and his pocket sevens a long shot. Affleck way behind. And he checks.
Harder's got that weak ace. The last hand General Custer played the night before Little Bighorn, I believe, was a weak ace.
He will test the others with that top pair and inferior kicker, $85,000. Stephen folds. Kostiuk makes the call with the best hand.
Yeah, do you see the difference, Lon, between the weak ace and the strong ace?
I see it now.
Okay, it's taking you this long to understand this very critical difference in poker. You don't want to play a weak ace.
Affleck folded, and Harder takes the lead with aces up on the turn.
Well, General Custer wasn't as lucky as Christian Harder.
Harder with chips. He bets $225.
How much behind?
Gary with little reason to think he's behind, asking how much Harder has.
I'm all in.
And he raises Harder all in.
Harder's got to believe he's got the best hand here, but it's for all his chips, so he will pause and consider it.
Harder does move all in. And he's got the best of it. Gary Kostiuk about to give up some chips.
Kostiuk can't like it.
Turn 2 pair. He did.
Oh my God.
And that is not good news to Kostiuk and his supporters.
Oh, I went with my read.
What?
I went with my read. Good hand.
It's not over.
Kostiuk looking for a queen or a 6 to knock out Christian Harder.
The river card is a deuce, and just like that, Harder doubles to almost $1.6 million.
Good hand, Christian.
Thanks. Sorry, Gary.
Oh, that's cool.
And Gary gives up all the ground he gained in that recent double-up and more. Time for Gary to rebuild. Meanwhile, Michael Mizrachi is the current chip leader with 133 players remaining, but that number might change as one-time chip leader Tony Dunst and Charles, don't call me Chuck Norris, are both all in and covered by Ian Gordon, who's ahead with pocket queens against ace-king and ace-10.
Well, if I bust, it's an honorable way to go out. Didn't spew it off. Can't complain.
I want that tie.
Dunst with the ace-king and a great attitude. Here's the flop, and there's a king. Tony is rewarded. He takes command. Gordon's queens run into tough luck, and Norris is the longest of shots.
Even some Chung Kuk Do will not save Chuck Norris right here.
Turn card is another 6. Dunst still a heavy favorite. Gordon needs a poker lifeline. Norris is out and drawing dead.
Gordon will need a queen to knock out Dunst, and Norris is heading to the exit.
The river card is a 10 of spades, and with kings up, Dunst will double up to more than $2 million while knocking out Charles Norris.
Table 372. Nice playing with you guys.
The only problem I have with Tony Dunst, and I like the cut of his jib, is that you should shake the hand of the fellow you knocked out before you start texting.
Dunst happy to survive, happy to stack his 2 million chips.
I mean, get it in with aces, right? Yep. What can you do?
Jean-Robet has aces again.
I came here prepared to take one hit. So if it happens, good luck to you. If it doesn't happen, good luck to me.
In a tight spot with pocket kings is Jose Manuel Nadal.
Come on, just flop me an ace. I don't even want to sweat. I don't want to fade a 2-outer.
I just checked my notes. Every time Jean-Robet is in a hand, he's talking and his opponent is not.
Deuce 10 queen.
Like that. Come on, dog. No face cards. We don't want to see a face card. No more. A nice little deuce ball would be just fine.
A nice little deuce ball would be just fine. The Jean-Robet Bellande story.
9 on the turn.
Good.
Nadal turns a straight draw.
Nadal needs a king or a jack, or he is wamboozled.
The river card. Oh, a king for Nadal! Nadal will survive and dish that horrendous beat to Bellande.
The best hand doesn't always hold up, and Jean-Robet momentarily is silenced. Nadal feels like he just gave birth.
Who runs like this, man?
He is no stranger to bad beats. Even for Bellande, that was vicious.
I know you think you got lucky, but it's not you, it's me. I've never been able to beat a 2-outer. I mean, that I already won once. Well, I beat King Queen, that's not a 2-outer. If I could fade 2-outers, it'd be unbelievable.
Yet another classic Jean-Robet moment. Back at the Rio, where Jean-Robet Bellande is still feeling the sting of having his pocket aces cracked.
The sting of having aces cracked, the Jean-Robet Bellande story.
Amazingly, at Bellande's tables, the aces of Pascal Lefrancois on the left may suffer the same fate because Jesper Hogo just flopped 2 pair. Lefrancois all in.
Lefrancois looked to the heavens, gave a little shrug, and gets ready to take his leave.
A battle of bracelet winners with 1.6 million chips and Pascal's tournament life in the balance.
Hogo appears to be in pain, but Lefrancois is the one who's suffering. Hogo looking for the knockout.
All right, the turn card is another queen, and Lefrancois retakes the lead with a better 2 pair.
Now they both are standing. I don't think they both can be standing at the same time, Lon. One of them's got to sit back down. There we go. Lefrancois now looking to dodge a 6 or an 8.
It's a jack, and the pocket aces bend but don't crack, and Lefrancois gets the double up.
Hogo not happy.
There's no reason for the Dane to be happy right now.
Oh, Hogo doesn't take defeat any better than Rex Ryan.
That was a tough one to stomach. So the 23-year-old Canadian student will hang around. Let's move over and check in at table 2. Eric Basebaldy Baldwin is not in the hand, but looking on as 4 others just saw a flop. Andrew Brokus favored with a nut flush draw. Walter Salas with only a king-high flush draw. David Baker, the best hand. Pocket queens. David Asseline looking for an excuse to fold his 4-deuce. He checks to Salas.
A former professional race car driver.
And he'll change gears and bet $200,000 to Baker now with his queens.
Baker 7 cashes at this World Series, including 2 final tables.
Baker putting some of his troops together, and he's going to raise it to $520,000.
Now to Brokus with a pair of jacks and the nut flush draw.
Mullen.
Brokus re-raises all in. That's over $1.1 million. Asseline finds his excuse to fold, and Salas gets out of the way as well.
That's a good laydown from Salas, and it leaves us with the 2 savvy pros, with Baker facing a big decision.
The best I can hope for is we're coin flipping. I hope you got like Queen Jack of clubs, King Jack of clubs.
Baker's got this hand cased.
I guess if I slow played myself into disaster, I'll just have to rebuild. I call.
I got what you wanted me to have.
Brokus in a race for his tournament life.
King, Queen of clubs.
Full King, Queen of clubs?
I didn't want to hear that, sir.
I like that.
That was not the right thing to say.
What a pot! It's a 2.8 million chip coin flip. Baker hoping to knock out Brokus.
Queen of clubs.
Turn card. 7 of hearts. Queens up for Baker. He still leads.
Baker sweating it out. Brokus needs an ace, jack, or a club to stay alive.
Spades.
6.
The river card is the club. Brokus rivers a tournament-saving flush, and Baker can't believe it.
Nice, huh?
Good cup.
With a turn of a card, what a turn of events. Brokus is alive and kicking. Baker now on the short stack.
Yeah, Baker was never quite comfortable with that call. Gives up over $1.2 million. Brokus now sits with almost $2.8 million. The size of the pots now at the main event is eye-opening. Let's check back in on the eldest Mizrachi brother. Robert and Benjamin Strati saw the board pair on the turn. Both checked. The river card is an ace of spades.
Strati, a 24-year-old pro from Wisconsin, he found those sunglasses in a spaceship that landed in his backyard.
Mizrachi check. Strati bets 100,000. Robert calls immediately and waits for Strati to turn over ace-king for aces up. Robert apparently can't beat that, and he'll have to match the bet.
And Robert Mizrachi now down to under 30 big blinds.
Yeah, Robert's struggling to keep his head above water. He has less than half the chip average in the room right now. Back to the feature table. Let's catch up on some of the poker stats that have surfaced. Matt Affleck has been pretty active today. He's voluntarily played in 33% of the hands, while Nick Rainey is right at the table average, playing in 19%. Gary Kostyuk has played a little less frequently, and as we see on the tail of the tape, presented by the official WSOP game, play now on Facebook, each one of the 8 hands Gary has played in has been all in, but of his 7 victories, only 1 has been called.
Gary doesn't raise that often, so when he does, he usually doesn't get any takers. That's the price you pay sometimes when you are too tight aggressive. All you do is win small pots.
In the one hand Gary lost, he paid a big price, sending most of his chips to Christian Harder. Action on Matt Affleck here in early position. He'll lay down 7-6. Sergei Rybachenko looks down at ace-10 of diamonds.
Rybachenko has cashed 5 times at the World Series, all in no-limit hold'em events, and he made 1 final table in 08.
The Russian pro raises it up to 60,000. The blinds are up to 12 and 24,000. Rainey folds to Kostyuk in the small blind. Ace-9.
I raise all in.
And he re-raises all in for 283,000.
Kostyuk down to 12 big blinds. The ace was good enough to push.
This is 1 short. I got 100 and...
Rybachenko makes the call. He'll have Kostyuk in trouble again. Kostyuk escaped with a double up the last time these two squared off.
Oh, heck, I know. I don't want to stop playing. I don't want to stop playing. Please have ace-8. Oh, not an ace-10. Oh, no, not ace-10.
Gary says he doesn't want to stop playing, and his supporters want him to keep going.
All black. I almost said I don't have ace-10.
Rybachenko again ahead, again with an opportunity to knock out Kostyuk.
Good luck. You're going to need it.
I need it for sure.
Kostyuk again thinking positive thoughts.
All right, here's the flop. Kostyuk at risk. And he catches his card again. Kostyuk now the favorite with a pair of 9s.
I'm glad Sergei Rybachenko is not Jean-Robet Bellande.
I know. Hey, it's all good.
Once again, Rybachenko is the one looking to improve. Turn card, another queen. Kostyuk still way ahead. Rybachenko thinking, is he going to do it to me again?
Kostyuk looking to dodge an ace or a 10.
The river card is a 6, and Kostyuk manages to come from behind and survive another time.
And the bucket list joyride of Gary Kostyuk's life continues. Rybachenko again foiled.
Gary Kostyuk basks in the glow of his good fortune. Time now for Straight from the Pros, brought to you by PokerStars.net. In the main event or in any event, being familiar with your opponent can be a big plus. Just ask Daniel Negreanu about the Tunica Circuit event in 2006.
It happened against Brandon Adams. I raised with Queen 10, and he called, and it came Queen 8-4 with 2 hearts. He checked, and I went ahead and bet. He moved me all in.
I knew you were going to move in on me. I don't know. I might call you.
It's a tough call for Daniel. If he trusts his read, his tournament life is at stake pretty much.
I thought about folding very briefly, but earlier in the tournament, he'd shown me a bluff in a spot where I didn't think he was capable of bluffing. The fact that he bluffed me and it looked very similar to the way that he did this time led me to just believe that my queen was good. I call it.
What a gutsy call.
A deuce misses Adams. River card is a jack. Negreanu is still with us.
There was history before that hand, and I felt like, you know what? I've got to go with my gut here, and I got to make the call.
Day 6 of the 2010 main event rolls on here at the Rio. Eric and Donnie Mizrachi, who had a nice run in this main event, are still cheering on their brothers. Robert right now is in a little trouble, well below the chip average. And Michael, who's the chip leader, grinder in a hand right now with Brock Bourne, an amateur from Naples, Florida. Mizrachi from Miramar, Florida. Michael bets 56,000.
Bourne operates a bunch of websites. This guy's 55 years old. Who let him in?
Bourne makes a raise now to 181,000.
Grinder doesn't think he's getting proper respect from his elders. Call the Nevada Senior Citizens Commission, get him hauled off.
Grinder makes the call for 125K more. All right, now the river card for these two Floridians. 7 of hearts. They both check. Grinder says, I got a pair of 9s.
Grinder doesn't have much, but he's got enough.
A fling of the cards from Bourne tells Grinder he's won the pot.
Mizrachi Palooza continues.
What a tear Michael Mizrachi has been on. Started the day with under $2 million, now with $5.5 million. All right, let's get back to the featured table where Nick Rainey's unique background has been a constant source of entertainment.
You play it all after USC?
What?
Did you play it all after USC?
Yeah, that was terrible. I played poker a long time when I was back at SC, but I was terrible. I was like a losing player.
You were like with
Almost
like Robo and Antonius, right?
Yeah.
How good was Patrick at tennis? He was professional, right?
He was never pro, but he's very good. It's impressive.
It's like the Doyle Brunson in basketball thing.
The Lakers, drafted by the Lakers.
Actually, I've beaten Patrick in basketball and Doyle in tennis.
Time for the Jack Links Beef Jerky wild card hand now.
I've heard rumors Jack Links is thinking of cutting me.
You better pick up your win percentage. Affleck folds over to Christian Harder. King, queen off.
Harder looks like he's looking for some trouble.
The 22-year-old with a raise to 57,000. Kostiuk with Jack 10 offsuit. He folds. Over to 23-year-old Jared Ingles with a couple of 8s.
His nickname is Bear Buck. Are you familiar with the legend of the bear buck, Alon?
Not entirely.
It's a creature that's half bear and half deer. Look it up sometime.
I will. Ingles called. Chamberlain has the Jack Links wild card hand.
Are you kidding me?
Good luck with that.
Well, if this were old maid, he couldn't have pocket queens.
You're right. He's in the big blind, and he calls.
I'm just going to put him on 7 deuce. Why not? Why wouldn't Danny Chamberlain play 7 deuce out of position?
I think that's the first time you've ever picked 7 deuce. Here's the 3-way flop. 6 jack deuce, 2 clubs. Ingles, no improvement to his pocket 8s. Harder sees nothing he likes.
The way Chamberlain plays, if he thinks it missed you, he'll bet even if it missed him. I think he'll bet here. Plus, it might even have hit him.
Chamberlain and Ingles check. Harder also checks.
Chamberlain checks. Maybe he's slow playing his deuces.
4 of spades. Ingles, no improvement again to his 8s.
Nobody's got anything except memories of the summer of '97.
Ingles first to act. With his pocket pair, bets 71,000. He'll try to get it here.
I'd bet too. The hand could be over. But Danny's saying not so fast. If he puts Ingles on this type of hand, medium pocket pair, maybe he can push him off of it with a raise.
No, he just calls for 71,000.
I still think Danny's got nothing, not even a draw, and he's planning to take away the pot on the river.
Harder will give up his king high, so heads up to the river.
Danny might have deuces, but that's nothing.
River card is an 8 of clubs. Ingles, river's a set.
Abort Operation Swagglefoosh, Danny. Abort Operation Swagglefoosh, Danny.
Ingles checks his set.
Usually I think you should bet there, but Ingles is figuring Danny might take a stab at it with nothing. He's checking his hand again? Deuces aren't wild, are they?
No, they're not here. Maybe an old maid.
164.
164,000 from your mystery guy.
Operation Swagglefoosh is about to blow up in bluffing Brigadier General Danny Chamberlain's face. I'm thinking check raise here for Ingles.
Ingles will make the call with his set of 8s.
Just a call, huh?
So now Chamberlain's going to have to show us what he had. 9-7 of clubs for a rivered flush.
Boy, a flush? I never really saw that coming.
Chamberlain wins the Jack Links Beef Jerky wild card hand, and you, sir, did not improve your win percentage.
My apologies to Danny Chamberlain, and my apologies to my family for embarrassing all of us yet again on national TV. I wish we were playing old maid.
A tough hand for Ingles to get away from. The pressure mounts with every hand played here on day 6. Welcome back inside the Amazon room at the Rio. Let's see what Jean-Robet Bellande is up to as he tries to rebuild his chip stack after an ace of diamonds on the turn, a third diamond. His opponent, Pascal Lefrancois, watches as Jean-Robet decides what to do, and he moves an army of orange chips into the middle, 390,000.
The 23-year-old bracelet winner is still in school in Montreal. I wonder if they have any upper-level courses on Jean-Robet Bellande.
And Lefrancois lays it down. He says, show me the bluff.
One time.
I think there's a speech in our immediate future.
5-4 off for Bellande.
The only reason why I'm showing is because that's the last time I'm going to bluff for the tournament. Boys, if I can't win with aces, I gotta win the pots that don't belong to me.
The pots that don't belong to me. The Jean-Robet Bellande story.
Unless I buy pots that don't belong to me.
Bellande bought that pot, and now he has $1.6 million. Other notable stacks include Robert Mizrachi with just about half the chip average. The top 5 stacks led by his brother Michael Mizrachi with almost $5.7 million. Joseph Cheong currently resides in 5th place, but out in the field, if his aces hold up, he will vault to the top of the list.
There's just so much in the pot. It's insane. This is a huge pot. I can't 6-bet 4.
Christopher George all in with pocket queens. The flop 8-8-7. Cheong's ace is up, trumping the queens up.
Cheong closing in on the chip lead. George close to being out of here.
Turn card is an ace. Cheong turns a full boat. Christopher George, drawing dead, will exit the main event in 126th place. He'll win over $57,000.
The hoodies are working. And the tournament online player from San Diego staking his claim in the biggest live game in the world.
Joseph Cheong, with almost $5.9 million, is top dog. Everyone here on day 6, though, light years away still from that World Championship bracelet. Back at the feature table, one-time chip leader of this tournament, Matt Affleck, with about $3.3 million. He's up $400,000 on the day. Gary Kostiuk, the amateur, 9-8 of spades. He will not play.
I'm glad to see Matt Affleck hanging tough.
Danny Chamberlain on the button, Jack 8 of clubs.
You give Chamberlain Jack 8 suited on the button, that's like pocket aces to him.
A small raise from him makes it $50,000 to Affleck. Ace deuce off.
I promised Matt's mother Sue he would do better than his 80th place finish last year. How do you break a promise to a mother?
That is a tall order to fill, but Matt is well on his way to fulfilling that promise. From the big blind, he makes the call for $26,000 more. The flop is Jack 4-6. Chamberlain outflops Affleck, pairing his jack.
2 gunslingers, high noon. If you're anywhere in the immediate vicinity, you should take cover.
With ace high, Matt bets $75,000.
75,000 chips and no hand.
Chamberlain with top pair, just a call.
Chamberlain completely baffles me, which makes him a very good player.
Yeah, a tray of spades on the turn. Affleck with a flush draw. Chamberlain still ahead.
Oh, Matt picking up that draw, Lon. He's likely to fire again.
He keeps betting into Chamberlain, $175,000.
I just love watching these guys play poker, Lon. It beats watching Steve Stricker line up a 6-foot putt.
Chamberlain just with the call. River card now is another spade. Affleck makes his flush with the tiniest spade in his hand. Matt checks this time.
I could watch that checking motion all day. Matt's got to be worried that Chamberlain has a spade. Any spade beats him, and doesn't Chamberlain have to worry that Matt might have a spade?
Chamberlain's going to find out right here. He bets $180,000.
I don't know what that bet is. I don't know how Matt Affleck folds here. He's getting 4.5 to 1 on a call. There is better than a 1 in 6 chance Chamberlain has a spade. Any spade will beat Matt.
Cool.
Matt calls. Jacks for Chamberlain, but the flush will win it for Matt.
The gunslingers holster their weapons and will rest until the next duel.
Matt Affleck somewhat sheepishly collects that million chip pot. And Danny Chamberlain is wondering what Matt was up to the whole time.
It's got to be because I didn't bet the queens, right?
Matt doesn't care for a chit-chat when he's stacking chips.
Well, we both know that you have a flush when you check it to me.
I didn't know that.
So if you know that I know that you know that you have a flush.
I didn't know anything.
All Matt Affleck knows is he's got more chips to play with, and this year, he plans to hold on to them. Day 6 of the World Championship continues. Just 122 players remain.
I'm not Boston Rob. That was another survivor.
Jean-Robet Bellande is a survivor indeed, and as the field continues to dwindle, plenty of familiar faces are still here, including Day 4 chip leader Tony Dunst.
I like a man in a suit.
There's Day 3 leader James Carroll.
Hello, Maria.
Matt Affleck has just over $3.1 million.
I got nothing for you, Lon.
And current leader Joseph Cheong.
Keep it up, Joe, and you'll be able to afford a whole closet full of hoodies.
But right now, the Mizrachis have taken over center stage in the Amazon room. Older brother Robert seated at table 2, along with Theo and Rob Pisano. Over at the feature table, Michael Mizrachi, currently second in chips with nearly $5.7 million.
He started this World Series winning a bracelet, and if he were to end it by winning this bracelet, please.
Seated nearby is Peter Jetton, someone Michael has shared a World Series final table with.
They played the Pot Limit Omaha Championship final table in 2008. Peter finished second, Michael finished third.
We played on the Omaha together, right? That was right?
Yeah, you came third. Yeah, you didn't remember that until just now?
I wasn't 100% sure. I remember the face.
Well, if I saw my first wife sitting at a table, I'm not sure I would remember her face either.
Let's take a look at the chip leaders right now. Michael Mizrachi second behind Joseph Cheong, followed by Rob Pisano and John Racener, who are both at table 2 tonight. Also plenty of notables in the field hoping to work their way up the charts, including Robert Mizrachi, who's getting short on chips with just $664,000. Michael Mizrachi well above the chip average of $1.8 million. The pressure cooker of day 6 continues. The blinds at $12,000 and $24,000. Fold it over to Peter Jetton on the Jack Link Speed Jerky Pocket Cam. Ace 10 offsuit.
He was studying philosophy at the University of Ontario and decided, no, I'm better off playing poker.
A raise to $60,000 to 21-year-old Getty Mattingsley from Texas, ace 7.
He was studying radio, TV, and film at the University of Texas San Antonio and decided, no, I'm better off playing poker.
So Michael Mizrachi with another ace, ace 5 of diamonds.
He was skipping classes at Brown Community College in Florida and decided, nah, I'm better off playing poker.
He makes the call to the big blind, and we've had a run on aces. They're all gone. Ace 9 for Brock Bourne.
Bourne is so old, colleges have not been built yet.
2 of the aces are suited, a 4-way battle of the kickers. Here's the flop, 10 Jack Trey. Jetton pairs his 10, he's got the best hand. Mizrachi with a nut flush draw, and he checks.
For what it's worth, Lon, all these college dropouts should have stayed in college. You can always play poker, but first, a little education doesn't hurt.
Checked over to Mattingsley, and he checks, so a free turn card. 6 of spades, misses all 4. Jetton's still best. Bourne and Mattingsley drawing dead right now. Michael Mizrachi's going to try to buy it right here, $150,000.
Grinder had not bet his draw on the flop. Now he gets busy.
Bourne lays down his ace 9. Jetton
with a pair of 10s, ace kicker.
And he's going to make the call for $150.
Mattingsley wondering where it all went wrong.
Mattingsley folds, so we're heads up. Mizrachi and Jetton will see a river card. Deuce of hearts, Jetton earns the check mark. Mizrachi loves to fire out. And he will, $175,000.
Grinder knows betting here is likely his only chance to win this pot.
Peter Jetton with a pair of 10s makes the call, and he will take chips from the grinder.
Jetton, good read, nice call, fresh chips. Maybe one day his face will be on a button.
So Peter makes a withdrawal from one of the chip leaders. Jetton now over 2.7 million chips. And the grinder right now perhaps remembering why he finished one spot behind Jetton at that final table they shared a couple of years ago.
Norman, it seems every year about this time we begin to marvel at someone making a remarkable main event run. Whether it's Harrington and Raymer going deep in back-to-back years or Ivy taking us on that thrilling journey last year, now Robert and Michael Mizrachi have everyone wondering if 2 siblings can conceivably make the final table.
Lon, you've heard of the Marx Brothers and the Wright Brothers?
Yes.
Morons. Sure, between them they've entertained millions and pioneered air travel, but that's nothing compared to what the Mizrachi brothers are doing here. Robert and Michael are redefining life as we know it. If they both make the November 9, forget stem cell research. I say we just cut both of them open and spread their gene pool everywhere for the good of the planet.
Oh, Mizrachi in every house. A scary proposition, Norman.
Are you the oldest brother?
Rob.
Oh, Rob.
I'm second oldest, but Eric's my twin brother. He's 2 minutes younger.
Who started playing first?
What's this guy writing a book?
Rob and I at the same time. Maybe we're all playing gamble since we're babies.
Since they're babies, they were check raising in a bib?
Well, that practice paid off. All 4 brothers cashed at this year's main event. Eric and Donnie eliminated on day 4 and 5 respectively, but are here in the stands to support their brothers. Watching Robert at table 2 with 9-8 of hearts. He called a pre-flop raise of $53,000 against John Racener. He's sitting with ace 10 of spades.
Racener dropped out of Florida Southern. Mizrachi, like his brother, dropped out of Brown Community College. Too many dropouts, people.
All right, here's the flop. Heads up, Jack 10-7. Mizrachi hits the Jack high straight.
Who needs a college degree when you flop a straight?
Racener paired his 10. Mizrachi first to act. He'll sit on it. He's really defied the odds, hanging on as long as he has so far. Racener checks as well.
I graduated from the University of Maryland, and look where I am today.
Turn card is another 7. Mizrachi's still ahead. Racener now with 2 pair, 10s and 7s.
It looks like Robert is open for business, and when he bets here, he'll be happy to get some business.
The short stack Mizrachi bets 112,000.
With his hand, I think Racener's going to be a customer who comes along.
These two are no strangers to each other. John is friends with Robert's brother Michael, and he makes the call. All right, river card now is a 10. Wow, Racener River's a full house.
Oh, man, that card was a stink bomb left on the front porch of the Mizrachi home.
Oh, so Racener with the check mark. Mizrachi betting into him, 215,000.
Robert bets most of his chips.
His brothers and sister-in-law Lily looking very anxious indeed.
Oh, they're useless up there.
Racener now with the raise. That's enough to put Mizrachi all in.
If Robert calls, he's gone. If he folds, he's got just 12 big blinds left. It's a conundrum, and he'd understand what I'm talking about if he had stayed in school.
Robert is committed. About half his stack already to this hand. Can he give it up?
What a tough spot for him. He flops a straight, and now his main event is on the line up against a guy who can't even wear a baseball cap properly.
And Robert does lay it down. And that's a smart fold in that situation.
Useless. They're useless up there.
So brutal, huh? I had it. Really? On the flop? Oh, you just had a 10. Ace 10 or something?
Good read.
So sick. You flopped it? Wow. So brutal.
Racener knocks Robert down to just 275,000. The clock is ticking, and Robert is running out of chips. Back at the Rio of the 319 players who began the main event, 121 still remain here on day 6, and not all of them are named Mizrachi. Right now, it looks like the last woman standing, Bree Zuckerman, is in trouble. She's all in with King 10 off, called by the pocket aces of Eric Baldwin.
Zuckerman looking for a lot of help.
Breeze in for her last 215,000. The flop is King 7-5. Zuckerman pairs her king. That's a good start.
She's still more than a 4-1 dog. Her first main event appears to be near an end.
A jack on the turn. No help to Zuckerman.
Breeze is going to need a king or a 10, or she's out of here.
River card is a queen, and Baldwin's aces knock out Breeze Zuckerman in 121st place, but she doesn't want to go.
Well, someone needs to tell her she's eliminated.
Breeze is a bit confused by the board. She thought she had a straight, but she'll go out in 121st place.
Well, even with a college degree, sometimes you misread the board.
Eric Baldwin knocking off Breeze Zuckerman, who gets a nice round of applause here at the main event.
A very quiet 2010 for women at the World Series. No bracelets, and sadly not many of them played in the main event.
Yeah, as you already mentioned, Norman, the ladies accounted for only about 3% of the main event field this year.
It's amazing. There's no, I find it unbelievable.
Yeah, there isn't more women in poker?
There's not more women in this, you know.
I think that in the next sort of 5 years, it'll get better and better every year.
You know, Lon, it hasn't gotten better yet, and there's just no easy explanation.
Well, Norman, perhaps that is a poker boom waiting to happen. Come on in, ladies. The water is fine. Action continues here at our feature table. Michael Mizrachi.
Do the Mizrachis have any sisters?
No, they don't. Michael folds. Over to Alex Kostritsin, a 25-year-old Russian poker pro with 8-6 off.
He attended Volgograd State University in Volgograd. I believe they are the Rambling Wreck.
He's going to try to steal it from the button. 60,000 is the raise to Randy Dorfman with 6-5 off in the small blind.
Formerly an options trader on the American Stock Exchange, my favorite stock exchange.
And he's going to try to re-steal with 6-5. Good read by Dorfman.
Yeah, Dorfman caught Kostritsin trying to steal from the button, so he's decided to steal it himself.
200,000 from Dorfman. Back to Alex.
How much you playing?
How much are you playing?
Now 1.2.
1.2.
Alex has 8-6 off. This is his third straight main event cash. Maybe he does it by bullying people with 8-6 off.
Battle of wills now. Back to Kostritsin.
No raise.
And Kostritsin doesn't believe Dorfman. He announces re-raise.
He's going to 4-bet it with 8-6 off.
485,000.
Well, he's caught Dorfman trying to steal from the guy trying to steal. It's a fistful of Boko artists out there.
Dorfman can't stand the heat, and Alex Kostritsin will take that matchup.
They're playing poker, Lon. One day I'm going to try to play too.
So Kostritsin will win that duel between he and Dorfman, as Dorfman finally had to lay it down. All right, let's go out into the field where day 4 chip leader and the sartorially splendid Tony Dunst is comfortable with pocket aces after calling Ian Gordon's all in. Ian, of course, is doomed, Norman. He's got ace-queen.
Ian studied astrophysics at Washington State. I believe he was kicked out of school for repeatedly overplaying ace-queen.
All right, here's the flop. It is 5 queen, queen. Wow, defying the laws of nature.
When the best-dressed guy has the best hand, he really should win. Ain't gonna happen.
So Gordon way ahead, going to the turn, deuce of diamonds.
So the one queen, like, well, at least I get a sweat.
Only an ace knocks out Gordon.
Another deuce on the river, and Gordon with queens full will get to keep his chips and earn $1 million more from Dunst.
Gordon won his first bracelet this year in the 10K horse event. He'll stick around here.
Tony Dunst takes that sizable hit to his chip stack with grace. It's all part of a calm, cool manner that translates right down to his wardrobe.
I have to say, my dad started handing me like GQ and Esquire magazines when I was around 12 or 13 years old, and I grew up with a man crush on James Bond. I love suits. I find that a great part about wearing suits is that people kind of let you get away with whatever you want. Finally got one off you. I try and mix it up with the shirt and tie and pocket square combination so that no look is exactly the same. It's getting better and better all the time. If I final tabled the main event, I'd be tempted to wear a tuxedo. I want the call. I want the call. I don't think every poker player should be walking around in a suit. I advise people to wear the clothes that's comfortable to them. These are the ones I feel good about myself in, and that's how I roll.
Poker Hall of Famer Crandall Addington always played in a tie and a jacket. More recently, there was Marcel Lusk, and now the resplendent Tony Dunst.
Nearby, Filippo Candio, hoping his pocket aces hold up. He's all in against the pocket queens of Michael Skinder. A big pot, almost 3.5 million chips in the middle. Candio's tournament life on the line. Turn card is a 6. Candio with a better flush draw now, too.
Two explosive and emotional players ran into each other here with big stacks. If Skinder gets very lucky, he could have the biggest stack in the room. The German trying to send the Italian to the exit. Candio needs to dodge a queen to double up.
The river card is a 9!
Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
Candio won it.
Andiamo!
Skinder quite excitable himself. He just made Candio one of the big stacks.
4 million! 4 million!
Benissimo, amico mio.
I'm sure Skinder understands Candio's outburst, not so sure about the tournament officials.
So sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Candio apologizing for the outburst.
Skinder manages to smile despite losing 43% of his chips in that hand. Filippo Candio, though, does manage to stay alive in this main event and now has about 3.5 million chips. That's a lot of scatterol. Back at the Rio, Filippo Candio getting a penalty for his victory celebration.
You're going to get a 1 round penalty for the celebration, no, please. My boss told me to.
How you can... Which penalty?
Celebration penalty for the festival, which you 1 round penalty.
I don't know these rules.
It's the Avard con rule. Never kept it on the con.
How much? It's a real penalty money.
Get a 1 round penalty.
1 round? Okay.
I respectfully disagree with the enforcement of this rule. I don't like it. If you're abusive or you're taunting or it's some calculated choreographed celebration, sure, shut it down, penalize it. But I wouldn't penalize raw, spontaneous emotion.
Now, 1 round of penalties will cost Filippo $63,000 in blinds and antes. Meanwhile, over at table 2, Robert Mizrachi still smarting from his previous hand with John Racener. John's at it again, this time up against Pittsburgh pro Josh Brickus, who checked the flop with a king-high flush draw. Racener has top pair, and he checks. Turn card now. Queen of spades, Racener still ahead. Brickus picks up a gut shot. Brickus bets $75,000.
Brickus, you may recall, is getting married next month. It's tough. You've got the main event on your mind. You've got the bachelor party on your mind. It's too much.
Racener makes the call.
And Racener's just playing free and easy. He doesn't have to worry about wedding invitations.
River card is a jack that pairs both. Racener earns the check mark with jacks up.
Brickus missed his draw. You don't want to do that on your honeymoon.
He checks his 1 pair. Racener now with his 2 pair. He'll bet $238,000.
Right now, Brickus is thinking, should I call with just a pair of jacks? Do we want a buffet at the reception? Or should we go with a set menu?
Decisions. Brickus decides to make that call. And Racener will show him the best hand.
See, John Racener is playing with a clear head. Josh Brickus is worried about seating arrangements.
So Racener collects that pot of $771,000, and with that moves up the leaderboard. He's now third in chips with nearly $5.3 million, all by himself as the top dog of Table 2. But John is never truly alone when he plays the game he grew up on.
I've been dreaming about winning. This is what I've been dreaming about my whole life. So once I got like towards the money and I had a good stack, I was like, all right, this is my time. I'm gonna do it. My dad would love to see this. Me and him used to always watch us on ESPN, watching all the guys go deep, the kids, you know, he'd be like, that's gonna be you, son. You love to compete, you love to play hard. It's gonna be you, I know it is. He would be so excited right now. My dad had Alzheimer's disease. He passed away about a year ago. And my dad knows he's not here, but he's watching over me. He loves to see me do well. He's the one who taught me a lot about poker when I was younger, you know, just playing gin rummy and stuff like that. That's where all this came from. It's a great feeling. And making the final table at the main event, I mean, that would just be unbelievable. And my goal is to be one of the best of all time, have one of the most top earnings, win a lot of bracelets, and when people see me, be like, that's John Racener. He knows how to play the game. Now I found myself here in the best spot possible. My dad would be so excited right now.
The 24-year-old appears to be on the way to meeting his goals. He has made a final table in each of the last 3 years at the World Series.
All right, Filippo Candio would like to be in the game right now. He still has a few hands to go in his one-round penalty, though. Elsewhere, Jean-Robet Bellande, who has done a solid job of doubling his stack here on day 6 to nearly $2 million, is considering his next move. Jonathan Duhamel bet $118,000 after a flop of 4 King-Jack.
Remember, Jean-Robert had his aces cracked by kings earlier on day 6. He's recovered nicely.
Bellande with a raise.
I raised 750 on drop.
Duhamel is going to re-raise 750 on top line with a French-Canadian accent. And Jean-Robert has removed his surgical glasses, which I believe means the procedure is over.
Well, that re-raise is something Bellande has been known to do, but can he continue here? He's going to lay it down to Duhamel. So Jonathan Duhamel's re-raise ends the drama. He'll take a bid off Jean-Robert.
No bluff.
And Jean-Robert with a modified Ushka look in Duhamel's direction.
Yeah, he hates what Duhamel just did, but he has to respect it.
I hope Jean-Robert is not connected.
Wait till next time, Monsieur Duhamel. Wait till next time. Time now for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Wild Card hand back at the feature table.
Why don't you just give me a blindfold and a cigarette and see how well I do?
Can't be much worse than you've been performing so far this season. Action over to Randy Dorfman, and he has the Jack Link's Wild Card hand.
This is the guy who tried to bluff with 6-5 off, and you want me to guess what he's playing? He was an options trader. I just think they played loose.
This grizzled-looking poker veteran hanging with the young guns makes it $56,000.
Small pocket pair at best. You can pretty much define people's play by their profession: insurance claims adjusters, proctologists, diesel technicians, tight, aggressive.
Fold it over to the grinder in the big blind.
Keynesian economists, bounty hunters, waste management consultants, loose aggressive.
Ace queen for grinder.
I'll be nice. I won't repop you.
Don't be nice.
Oh, is someone looking for me?
Grinder makes the call. He'll go heads up against Dorfman. The flop is 9-8 queen. Mizrachi picks up a pair of queens, and he checks top pair. Dorfman now bets just about half the pot, $76,000.
Trying to end the hand right now. I don't think he has much.
Grinder with a quick call.
For some reason, architects and lifeguards are tough to read.
8 of diamonds. Mizrachi now with queens up, and he bets $100,000.
I didn't expect Grinder to lead out, and just for 1/3 of the pot.
Dorfman now. Looks like he's sweating.
I once dated a Howard Johnson's waitress, impossible to figure out. And I don't know what Randy Dorfman's thinking here. This worries me a bit. He's squirming, he's counting his chips. Maybe he's got a monster and this is a horrific acting job we're watching.
He's still talking to himself, counting his chips again. But he makes the call.
Well, Dorfman's not calling with a small pocket pair. Maybe he flopped a straight draw, or maybe he does have a monster.
Tray of diamonds on the river, a third diamond out there. Action on the grinder. With queens up, that's $180,000.
Grinder thinks he has the best hand. Water quality analysts are tough to read, too.
All in.
All in from Dorfman. Read that, Norman.
I don't know.
Could it be a bluff shove? Could the options trader be posturing for all his chips? I think the answer is yes.
Dorfman trying to hide from Mizrachi.
It's too much acting, that hand.
That's a good point by Grinder. Dorfman took forever to call the turn.
You might just have quads there.
So Grinder, is it a monster or a monster play? It's a monster play.
Grinder with 2 pair. And he's going to lay them down.
I would have called.
So Randy Dorfman will take that pot, shows a 9. He shows pocket 9s to win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
Boy, he had a full house.
Wow.
I might want to think about another line of work.
Randy Dorfman is stacking Mizrachi's chips.
You looked nervous. I don't know if it was fake nervous
I
or
was
real nervous.
No,
though.
I was very nervous.
Yeah, right.
I was, man.
You were? Were you a flush draw?
Nervous or excited?
Huh?
One of the two.
So it wasn't an act?
No, it was definitely not an act.
It was an act.
Let's put it this way. I did not want the call.
Oh, you wanted it.
Oh, you bluffed me.
Maybe.
I don't think Michael's convinced one way or another, but I guarantee he's itching to get another shot at Randy Dorfman. Back to the feature table where reaction to that last hand is still bubbling.
Wait, I gotta put my glasses on because Mike's already staring at me.
I'm already upset that you bluffed me.
I did not. I had a hand. I don't know if I had the best hand, but I had
Ace queen.
Dorfman knows he was not bluffing Grinder.
Maybe it was a bad fold.
It was a good fold.
All right, let's move on, Grinder. Action over on Peter Jetten. Jetten looks down at Queen 9 of clubs.
Like John Racener, Peter Jetten has made a final table in each of the last 3 World Series.
From under the gun +2, a raise to 60,000. Mizrachi now. 7-6 of hearts.
Lon, you know why I walk around scratching my head all day?
Why's that?
Because I can't believe what these Mizrachis are doing at this World Series and at the main event. It's a head scratcher.
From the cutoff seat, Mizrachi called. Brock Bourne on the button with aces.
Aces on the button, and 2 pretenders in front of him. Hallelujah.
Pretender number 1, Peter Jetten with Queen 9. Mizrachi with 7-6. Bourne re-raises to 150. Now to Dorfman. He'll sit this one out. So back to Jetten now.
I don't know what Jetten's thinking.
You still have a hand?
Yeah, he's thinking.
Oh, I can't see it.
Peter Jetten, wow, he's really stepping into it, Norman. A re-raise to 400,000.
And Grinder's thinking, I like the size of the pot already. Maybe Bourne was stealing from the button, and now Jetten's trying to steal it from him, so maybe I can steal it.
And Mizrachi will lay it down.
Good decision.
So Bourne now with the aces.
And Brock Bourne is driving this train.
He's going to repop it. 750 back at you, Peter.
That's a 5 bet. And Peter Jetten is left with memories of the 400,000 chips he had a few moments ago that will be finding a new home.
Peter Jetten now just trying to save a little face.
Let them go, Peter. Those chips will be happy in seat 8.
Peter Jetten. The pro lays it down.
They're playing poker, Lon. And sometimes it helps to have cards to play.
So Bourne wins it without a flop. Players tell me they're nervous playing aces, so Bourne is probably thrilled with the way that all played out. Jetten takes the 400,000 chip hit, leaving him with about 2.3 million. Out in the field, the rich are getting richer. 21-year-old Michael Wyrot concedes a sizable pot to chip leader Joseph Cheong, who's sitting with over 5.5 million chips.
Cheong won a World Series circuit ring earlier this year, and this is his 3rd cash at this World Series.
Cheong right now in a very comfortable position. Out in the field, it looks like Filippo Candio's wait is finally over.
Sorry, guys.
His 1-round penalty has expired. He's free to start playing again.
Well, Filippo apologized before the penalty. Now he's apologized after the penalty. I think Mr. Candio just has youthful exuberance.
No doubt he will be a bit more subdued out at that table. Meanwhile, the player who knocked out poker icon Dan Harrington has a big decision to make.
I thought that might have been coming.
Massachusetts native Ronnie Barta just got raised all in by Jeff Banghart. Barta with queens up, Banghart bluffing with king high.
Barta, a 27-year-old pro. Banghart, a 48-year-old Nebraska business owner making his 2nd deep main event run.
Why 4-bet me pre-flop and lose me, right?
Banghart trying to bluff Barta off a big hand.
I call.
Barta calls.
Call.
Barta makes the right read for all his chips. and now is in great position to double up.
Coming out.
Turn card now. 5 of hearts, no help to bang heart.
Barta just needs to dodge a king to stick around.
River card is another 5, and Barta wins it with queens up.
We got.
Well, he's got over 1.8 million thanks to you, Jeff Banghart. So Barta moves into positive territory on the day, up over 300,000, but it pales in comparison to the players who have had the biggest gains today. As we take a look at the tournament ticker brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net, chip leader Joseph Cheong has made a huge amount of progress today. John Racener is up over 3 million, and so far Michael Mizrachi has the day's biggest gains. But the Mizrachi family historic run is in peril at the moment. Robert has only 204,000 chips. Just 8 big blinds left for the eldest Mizrachi. Now to Robert's friend and tablemate Theo Tran, who just moved all in for his last 170,000 with ace-9 off. Action over now to John Racener in the cutoff seat. Racener makes the call to put Theo at risk with pocket deuces.
Tran and Racener are good friends. Racener looking to send his buddy home.
Here's the flop. 4 king 10. Racener's smallest pocket pair still ahead.
I believe Theo covers his mouth so he doesn't yell out Yahtzee inadvertently.
Turn card. Another 4 pairs the board. That does give Theo some additional outs.
Racener still in good shape to knock out his buddy. Theo Tran needs an ace, king, 10, or 9, or his main event is over.
And here's the river card. Will it be Theo Tran's last? No! A 10 on the river. So Tran with 4s and 10s with the ace kicker will survive.
I think that's the second time on day 6 we've seen Theo down to his last card.
Like his buddy Robert Mizrachi, Theo hangs tough here on day 6. Well, you call with deuces, you take your chances. An inexpensive payoff for John Racener, who still has over 5 million.
Please be good to me. It's not you, it's me. Good luck to you. Good luck to me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Go, Jean-Robet.
it's time.
Good lay down.
Excellent lay down. Awesome lay down.
I'm hip to you. Hip to you.
Yeah!
Yes! Just gonna glide into tomorrow.
Jean-Robet is finding that today is not a good day for gliding.
I don't think I can fold. I was on a move, bro.
Jose Manuel Nadal shoved with ace-king. Bellande with suited jack-5.
I was on a move. It's embarrassing, but I gotta turn it
So
over.
Bellande makes the call for 94,000 more.
Bellande was on a move. Maybe this is his chance to pay back Nadal for cracking his aces earlier on day 6.
Turn over to ace king. That's the best I can hope for when I've got jack 5.
All right, Nadal at risk.
Only like a 3-2 dog.
Just a little more than 3-2.
Bellande trying to knock him off. Here's the flop. It is king, Trey king, a good flop for ace king all in.
And now Jean-Robet is quite a bit more than a 3-2 dog.
Turn card is a 7. That will end it. Bellande drawing dead. Nadal doubles to 510,000.
94, right? 94?
Every beat feels like a bad beat to Jean-Robet.
Bellande knows he painted himself into a corner.
The 23-year-old Mexican student has what almost everyone in the poker world wants, Jean-Robert's chips. I love to hate him, Lon, but some days I just love him.
Elsewhere, Filippo Candio finally back in action. He and his wall of chips just saw a flop of 4 deuce 5, along with Minnesota poker pro Jason Sentai, who bet 70,000 before Candio check raised to 230.
Sentai, 28 years old, good friends with Phil Galfond.
I guess I put myself in a dumb spot there. Cool.
Sentai lays it down to Candio.
A silent Filippo Candio takes in chips.
Picks up where he left off before his penalty. Meanwhile, day 3, chip leader James Carroll flopped a straight flush draw, but he still needs to improve against his opponent, Pierre Canali, and his pocket aces. Canali is checked.
Canali used to be a salsa instructor.
Come on.
Carroll bets Canali all in, and Pierre Canali calls to put his tournament life at risk.
Carroll with the straight flush draw.
7 of clubs for Carroll would hit that straight flush turn card now with Canali at risk. It's a 10 of diamonds, Canali ahead, but Carroll paired his 10.
Carroll still with a Ferris wheel of outs to knock out Canali. A 7-9 tenor jack or any club.
The river card is an ace of spades, and Canali with a set of aces doubles up through James Carroll. So Carroll, the local poker pro, is knocked down to under 2.4 million. For Pierre Canali, well, chips and salsa do go together. The French poker pro up to almost 2.5 million. All right, let's get back to the feature table. Everyone in the room looking to accumulate chips.
All right, guys, he wants a double up.
I'll take a courtesy double up.
I want one too, but I can't get one.
Yeah, you can't even get one. It's always nice when it's impossible to double up.
Grinder with the biggest stack at this table, the third largest in the Rio poker room. Action on Getty Mattingsley, the 21-year-old from San Antonio on the Jack Link's beef jerky pocket cam, sees 8-7.
21 and 4 cashes at this his first World Series.
A raise to $53,000 from Mattingsley.
How did they get so good so young?
Mizrachi, ace-10.
Grinder, of course, apparently started playing when he was in the crib.
I gotta get some chips back.
He re-raises to $150,000 to his nemesis, Randy Dorfman, with 1 king. Pocket kings for Dorfman.
Grinder said he wanted to get some chips back. He's about to give some more chips away.
Raise.
Dorfman says re-raise from the small blind.
All in.
All in. That's over $1.8 million.
That should clear out the shoe clerks and crumb bums.
Mattingsley among them? Yes, he's going to lay it down. Now to Mizrachi.
And Grinder is frustrated with one Randy Dorfman.
Michael's not going to give up anything easily.
Go back to the other table, please. Everybody wants to be a hero on this table.
Some heroes have pocket kings.
The ones who have ace-10 lay it down.
Dorfman didn't get the memo that this is the year of the Mizrachis.
Getting those chips in the middle.
Dorfman has picked the right spots to do it, while Michael's been the unfortunate victim twice to Dorfman's aggression, and that does not sit well at all with the Grinder. Time for Straight from the Pros, brought to you by PokerStars.net. In order to become a world champion, you have to learn a lot along the way. In the 2009 main event, Joe Catta was the perfect student against Nick Maimoni.
I decided to make my standard open, make it 2.5 times big blind. Maimoni called in position with 9s.
King, 6, queen, 2 hearts.
It's a great flop for my hand. I'm never really folding with the ace-high flush draw. A continuation bet, and Nick just decided to call.
Turn card 8 of hearts. Catta hits the nut flush.
At this point, I'm deciding, okay, would it be better to bet here or would it be better to check here? And I started thinking about all the hands he could have. I figured he's going to bet too, so what's the point of me betting? And kind of disguised my hand a little bit.
Check.
1.2. He bets and I call.
The river card.
Check.
And I checked again, hoping he would bet. I think if he had a complete air bluff or if he had a flush, even if he had a king, I think he value bets the river.
Maimoni checks back.
When I saw him check the river, I was just praying he didn't have like a king-jack type hand and, got scared and checked and I lost value. But I was happy when I saw the 9s there.
Oh!
So I think I liked how I played the hand.
Back inside to Rio, it's a long road to the final table, and for some it might be getting even longer. One-time chip leader David Asseline has David Baker all in.
I have 9-10 of diamonds versus the ace and the jack.
He plays and he announces.
And he's very accurate. Baker at risk. Here's the flop. 8-9 queen, both players with a gut shot. Baker now leads with a pair of 9s.
I gotta dive to 10 or an ace.
Thanks, buddy, for doing my job.
Another 8.
I still gotta dive to 10 or an ace.
Thanks again. I have no purpose here.
Exactly. All right, now the river card. Baker all in. It's a 4, and with 2 pair, he'll keep his job as poker player for the time being.
Baker doubles up. And Lana, I just gave 2 weeks' notice.
Baker doubles up to almost $500,000, way below chip average, while Asseline drops down to just over 1 million chips. Back to Tony Dunst, whose pre-flop raise was called by Ian Gordon. They both saw a flop of Trey 4.
I wouldn't mind seeing Dunst in a double-breasted roll black pinstripe.
Tony Dunst does bet $100,000 into Gordon, who reaches for 20 orange chips and makes the call.
I don't see how Gordon can make that call wearing what he's wearing.
Deuce on the turn. Dunst now with $230,000. Gordon sits a little uneasily now, but he does make the call.
I don't even know if Gordon is wearing pants.
All right, river card is another 4. Tony Dunst now checks it.
Uh-oh. GQ has slowed down.
3. Gordon bets $300,000 and Dunst with an insta-fold.
Maybe Tony Dunst has to start dressing down. I know I can help him there.
Did not have pocket eights, I'll say that. That's as far as I'm going with it. Did not have pocket eights.
Well, it didn't matter to Tony, who apparently missed his hand and had to muck. Dunst getting short, now below 1 million. Just 116 players remain in the hunt for the World Championship bracelet, the only one that trumps that Players Championship bracelet on Mizrachi's wrist.
And Grinder looking to win the Poker Players Championship and the main event in the same year.
Grinder, did that bracelet ever come off or no?
Oh, yeah. They told me to be proud of it, so I'm wearing it.
I like it. I would too.
Hey, I carry my divorce papers everywhere I go.
Action on Dewey Lay, a 27-year-old from San Francisco who quit law school to pursue a career in poker.
We don't need any more lawyers.
A raise to $60,000 with King 10 of diamonds to Chris Bolt, 26-year-old.
Graduated from Middle Tennessee State University. That's fine by me.
Ace 7 and a re-raise to $200,000.
Big re-raise with the weak ace.
How much you plan to?
1.4.
You got about.
Michael Mizrachi scoping out his opponent's chip stacks. Ace King in the small blind.
I raise.
He announces a re-raise.
A legitimate 4-bet. I didn't know that was still in the playbook here.
He makes it $700,000. Brock Bourne in the big blind. Folds. Dewey Lay gets out of the way.
You have me covered?
Bolt knows he is easily out-chipped by Grinder.
It's always a bad feeling when you raise somebody. You re-raise somebody and somebody re-raises you.
Unless
Unless what?
Unless you have a big hand.
Oh, a big hand.
And you like it.
I like every hand. I have a wide range.
I'm aware.
Grinder does have a wide range, but he does indeed have a big hand here.
And Bolt will lay his weak ace down. Mizrachi with the strongest of aces takes that pot.
Lon, have I given us a Mizrachi Palooza continues lately?
Not lately.
Mizrachi Palooza continues!
Grinder gets a few chips back, and you can see in the white t-shirt Michael's twin brother Eric up on the platform, where he can go back and forth and watch both Michael and Robert, who's at table 2. Robert getting very short on chips under 200,000. Ace 10 of hearts.
Yeah, no Mizrachi Palooza over here. Robert down to 8 big blinds.
And they're all in the middle now.
Robert's been short stacked for quite a while.
So from first position, Mizrachi pushes Racener with a weak ace. And he will not call. To the cutoff position, Josua Sovajo with ace king.
A former StarCraft player.
This has disaster written all over it for Robert. He makes the call. Robert Mizrachi at risk. The rest of the table folds, so it will be Mizrachi heads up against Sovajo.
Robert Mizrachi dominated. He'll need help or he'll be the third brother to the rail.
And the other 2 brothers that have been knocked out are watching on closely with Michael's wife, Lily.
They're useless. What a World Series for Robert. 6 cashes, 3 final tables.
And Robert trying to find something in the flop. It is 7 jack tray, no hearts. Mizrachi gets no help.
And the door closing on Robert Mizrachi's sparkling 2010 World Series.
Sovajo knocked out Phil Galfond. He's prepared to do the same to Robert Mizrachi. Turn card now. Is a 6 of spades, and the Mizrachi main event family affair is just a river card away from being a one-man show.
The least they could do is get the car started. Robert needs a non-spade 10 or his main event is over.
The river card now is a 9, and Sovajo with his ace king ends a tremendous World Series for Robert Mizrachi.
It's remarkable, Lon. In a sea of 7,000 plus entrants, 4 brothers survived to the money. They have set a sibling standard for all future large families to shoot for. Good luck.
And the word spreads quickly. So the historic Mizrachi Family Fest will put its hopes and dreams on the shoulders of Michael now. Brother Robert out in 116th place in the 2010 main event.
Still did good no matter what, man.
Yeah.
Still got Grinder in there.
Robert Mizrachi on the rail now, and Brother Michael will fly solo in this main event as his march towards history moves on. Back at the Rio, 110 players remain in this main event. The chip average just shy of 2 million, and Joseph Cheong is still the chip leader with 5.3 million. At table 2, both Theo Tran with ace-jack and Ben Strati holding pocket nines are at risk. Rob Pisano with 8-7 of spades has them covered.
I like my chances. I'm pretty.
Pisano's got a 1 in 5 chance to knock the 2 others out. Tran has Strati covered, and maybe Theo Tran is covering his mouth as a good luck charm.
All right, so 2 players at risk. The flop, tray 4-6. Strati's pocket nines are still ahead. Wow. Tran got no help. Pisano picked up a gut shot.
Pisano looks like he expects to win, and if he gets lucky, he will get a double knockout.
All right, the turn card now. And a pair of aces for Tran to grab the lead. For Strati, he's staring elimination in the face.
Like, I'm not going to hit a 5-0 on the river. Like, come on.
Strati needs a 9 or he's gone. If Pisano River's a 5, Strati and Tran both are busted.
The river card is an 8, and Tran will win the hand and almost triple up to over 1.1 million, while Ben Strati eliminated in 110th place.
Theo Tran seems like he's got 9 lives at this main event.
I thought ace have to come. I went on a side putt.
You've been running really bad today, you know that? You're running so bad today. This guy, like, is this guy serious?
Enjoy your chips. Don't be a about it.
I'm being a about it. Like, really?
Yeah.
Are you serious? All day you've been complaining.
I was complaining. I was saying 5. That's it. Apparently saying 5's complaining. Ian, you hear that? If I call for a 5, I'm complaining.
Everyone a bit on edge.
I don't want to get into it. I'm just not going to talk.
Well, the stakes keep rising, tensions keep mounting, and, well, poker players can be a prickly lot.
Back over to the feature table where the Mizrachi cheering section has grown by 1 with the recent elimination of Robert.
It's a tight-knit family. They stick together. Even when one of them goes to get an oil change, they all sit in that little Jiffy Lube waiting room.
They're all here to cheer on the big stack of Brother Michael.
Can you win Player of the Year still?
If I win the tournament.
If you win this tournament?
I chop it with Frank.
You really? That's pretty funny. That's a bad. Well,
yeah, it's funny. He goes to me, if you win the main event, I don't even want it. I don't deserve it.
What's the chances he's going to win the main event, but he's still here?
It'll be cool. I'll take the win the main event. He can have Player of the Year.
Yeah, right.
Michael trying to catch Frank Casella as Player of the Year. Mizrachi looks down at Jack 10 of spades.
Somewhat a walk.
A raise to 80,000. The blinds are up to 15 and 30,000. Folded over to Matthew Schreiber, 27-year-old from Laguna Niguel, California, ace-7 of diamonds, and he's all in.
He's a commercial realtor, and all his chips now in the middle.
All right, I call.
Almost 300,000 more for Michael.
Hope you have a pair, a small pair.
No pair.
10 jack of spades.
Yes, I'm ahead.
Schreiber trying to double up his small stack. Michael's wife, Lily, always looks worried.
The pressure's on.
All right, here's the flop now. It's 7, 6, 10. Schreiber pairs his 7, but Mizrachi catches 10s.
And Grinder now close to sending the 27-year-old to the exit.
It's not looking good.
Not over to.
Pull the car around.
Turn card 5 of clubs, no help to Schreiber.
Schreiber needs an ace or a 7 or he's gone.
The river card's another 5, and Michael Mizrachi with a better 2-pair eliminates Matthew Schreiber in 107th place. He wins over 57,000.
We lose all the good-looking ones before we get to know them.
I guess Brother Robert's a good luck charm to Michael.
There's more money. Woo!
The new chip leader is the last Mizrachi standing, Michael Mizrachi.
So my goal is 10 before the day starts.
Really?
Yeah.
God, sick goal. Sicker that you might get there.
10 million is a lofty goal, but who can doubt the grinder now? The final 100 of the main event approaches as day 6 rolls on. Alongside Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Only 106 players remain on day 6 of the main event, including a few athletes turned poker pros like former tennis pro Nick Rainey, who's struggling as one of the short stacks.
They're done before.
Meanwhile, Jean-Robet Bellande is also struggling. Former chip leader Matt Affleck is still near the top of the leaderboard, and Gary Kostiuk hopes to continue his inspirational run.
I was taught not to celebrate, but I couldn't help a couple times today.
Fresh off his penalty, a subdued Filippo Candio has moved to what's been an excitable table 2 with Rob Pisano and a rejuvenated Theo Tran. Also still at the table is John Racener, along with his 5.5 million chips. At our featured table remains a player whose remarkable World Series and Day 6 continue.
Michael Mizrachi has tripled his Day 6 stack, hoping to make the November 9 his 4th World Series final table of 2010.
Brother Robert has joined the grinder rooting section.
All 3 of you guys finished in the money.
Four of us finished in the money.
4 of you finished in the money? That's pretty incredible.
It is pretty incredible. I'm thinking the World Series might have to enact an anti-Mizrachi law.
They'll have to wait until next year because there is a Mizrachi atop the hotly contested leaderboard. Former chip leader Matt Affleck is 10th with 3.8 million. Alex Kostritsin also on the list with just under 5 million and seated at our featured table.
Like the grinder, Alex, with a big Day 6 doubling his stack.
The blinds right now at 15 and 30,000, a 4,000 chip ante. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky pocket cam, Peter Jetton looks down at ace-4 offsuit, and he'll throw those into the muck. Getty Mattingsley won't play, folded over to the grinder. Michael Mizrachi with a weak ace tray.
The last Mizrachi standing? Man, it took forever to get rid of the rest of them. They were starting to get on my nerves.
From the hijack seat, Mizrachi raises to 80,000. Alex Kostritsin, Russian pro with pocket sevens.
Grinder, of course, won the Poker Players Championship. This guy finished 10th. He can flat out play.
He calls for 80,000. Folded over now to the big blind, Dewey Lay, 27-year-old from San Francisco. This is his third World Series cash. He has pocket fours.
Nice watch. I mean, that watch tells time, trust me.
He makes the call. 3 players will see a flop. Kostritsin is best with his sevens. The flop is deuce, 10, deuce. Mizrachi got none of that. His family looking on.
Why does Lily have sunglasses on? Thank you.
Kostritsin with his sevens and deuces is ahead. Lay missed that. He checks. Grinder now with ace tray. Is going to bet it. He likes to bet 100,000.
Grinder released those chips like, I shouldn't bet it, but I'm going to anyway.
Now Kostritsin with the best hand calls.
Grinder's not happy about that.
Lay and his watch retreat.
Well, Grinder's got it down to heads up as a 9-1 dog. I guess it could be worse.
Turn card is another 10. Mizrachi still on the short end of that deal. Kostritsin remains a heavy favorite. Grinder checks this time.
Grinder either cutting his losses or setting up a check raise bluff.
Kostritsin with $250,000.
And Grinder staring at Kostritsin like he stole something from the family lockbox a few years ago.
Grinder does look suspicious.
Why don't you steal it?
And folds.
$100 to shove. A ruble.
Randy Dorfman willing to pay to see Alex's cards.
I'm a patriot, but not that much.
Oh.
To get rubles instead of dollars.
Rubles aren't worth anything anymore.
Well, Grinder's hand was not worth even a few rubles, but if he stays atop the leaderboard, it will be worth almost $9 million US to him.
By the end of day 6, that wild dream of being the next world champion of poker will become a realistic possibility. What an amazing accomplishment that would be for any of the remaining players. But Norman, only one still has a chance at unprecedented poker history.
Lon, nobody has ever won the 50K Poker Players Championship, the main event, and Player of the Year in the course of their career. Yet if Michael Mizrachi can keep grinding to glory here, he'll have captured all 3 in 1 year. With my apologies to Chris Moneymaker, that would be beyond fairy tale. And it sure doesn't seem inconceivable anymore.
No matter where Michael finishes, he'll no doubt be able to look back proudly at this year's World Series. Out in the field, a player who had a great World Series last year, Eric Baldwin, the former baseball player, sat at 2 final tables and won a bracelet, but is now looking on as German pro hoopster Michael Skinder with a suited king deuce is facing David Baker, who's all in with ace-4 off.
Deuce.
All right, now the flop. It is 10. Deuce tray. Skinder got his deuce to take the lead. Baker with a wheel draw.
Baker should be asking for a card.
Turn card is another tray that helps Baker a little.
Baker needs an ace, 4, 5, or 10, or he's gone.
It's a 4. Baker pairs up, and that's good enough for a double up.
Who'd ever think that the 4 was actually sucking out?
Yeah, I don't normally get excited.
David Baker was excited there? Boy, if you want excited, I guess Michael Skinder is your man.
The hoopster remains above the chip average with nearly $2.5 million and seems to have put that loss behind him. But former tennis player Nick Rainey has reason for concern. He's all in and at risk against Sergei Rybachenko, who flopped a pair of kings. Rainey picked up a pair of 8s. So Rainey looking to survive. Turn card is a trade. No help to Nick.
Patrick Antonius' former assistant needs an ace or an 8, or he's gone.
It's a 5 of clubs. Rybachenko will win the hand. Nick Rainey knocked out of the main event in 106th place.
And Lana, I think there are only 6 hoodies now left in the main event.
The former tennis pro wins over $57,000. Let's go over to table 2, the second biggest stack in the room. John Racener looking on as his friend Theo Tran flopped aces up and is in a hand against Manuel Davidian, who leads after flopping Broadway.
They both flopped huge hands, but Theo Tran is the one in huge trouble.
We've seen Theo in trouble before and has managed to wiggle out of it to still survive here on day 6, and he checks. Davidian now from Morton Grove, Illinois, checks behind.
Well, 2 players can't be trapping each other in the same hand.
Turn card is an 8. Davidian way ahead, but not out of danger just yet.
They both think they have the other trapped.
Tran checks again. Davidian now, reaching for chips. He very carefully puts together 92,000. Tran check raises to 220.
Theo takes his first step into the abyss.
Yeah, and Davidian just with a call.
Davidian's got him right where he wants him.
All right, the river card. Theo Tran in a deep hole. 5 of clubs. Davidian makes it official. He's got the check mark.
I don't think the third club on the board worries Theo Tran.
He does check.
I think he's still trapping, hoping Davidian bets.
Mullen.
Davidian obliges, but I'm not sure Tran expected that.
Yeah, Theo's got to be worried now, Lon. We've seen Theo Tran survive earlier all-ins when he was behind, but if he calls here, there is no escape. He'll be all in and all out.
The call.
Theo Tran makes the call and will say farewell to this main event.
So could have just called.
Theo Tran finally ran out of lives here at the main event.
Theo Tran knocked out by Manuel Davidian in 105th place, earning over $57,000.
He was 125th last year, 105th this year. Well done by Tran.
Davidian takes the last of Tran's chips. Theo worked so hard to stay alive in this tournament, but calls off all his chips, and his main event has come to a painful end. Back at the Rio, just over 100 players remain. Here's a look at the youngest ever main event champs. Winning the first main event made Johnny Moss the youngest by default. When Phil Hellmuth broke the record in '89, he held it for almost 2 decades. It's been broken the past 2 years, and now 3 players remain who could break the record again. At 21 years, 2 months, Evan Lamprea is the youngest of the 3 who can continue the trend, while at another table, young Mikhail Sipkins is looking on as action is folded to his fellow record hopeful Michael Wyrot. He was re-raised by John Armbrust.
Wyrot started playing when he was 15.
I'm going to raise.
Wyrot says he's going to re-raise. Armbrust made it 190,000. And now Wyrot says 480,000.
They're just not young and restless, Lon. They are young and unrelenting.
And a 29-year-old Armbrust, an amateur from Culver City, California, lays it down.
Yeah, well, 29, Lon, I believe Armbrust is getting just a bit too old for this game.
Math teacher still manages a smile. Wyrot enjoying his ride. He has a top 10 chip stack, has nearly quadrupled that stack here on day 6. Elsewhere, 24-year-old James Carroll has taken a slight downturn and is below the chip average. He faces a decision against Damian Luis, who put out a bet of $250,000 on the river.
Carroll's made a lot of good decisions at this main event.
He makes a call on the river. Straight and flush possibilities on the board, and Luis turns over a set of 4s.
James Carroll is feeling older by the minute.
James mucks his cards, and Luis is building a nice chip stack out there in the field, while James Carroll, the day 3 chip leader, has hit a rough patch down to just below 1.4 million. Back over at the featured table, the ever-changing leaderboard has shifted once again. Michael Mizrachi is now also a former chip leader, down to just below 5.4 million. He has fallen slightly behind Alex Kostritsin, who is the chip leader with just over 6 million.
So who's the best Russian player of all you guys? Overall, poker player.
Including bankroll management.
No,
and
bankroll
everything.
management is nothing. It means a lot, but I'm not talking about bank. All the great poker players have bad bankroll management. Including me.
Grinder knows of what he speaks. The IRS hit him with a lien this year for $340,000 in back taxes, and he had to foreclose on a couple of properties, including his home in Florida. But Grinder says he's all right. He's hired a better accountant, and he just has to learn how to handle his money better.
Action will begin with Chris Bolt from Nashville, Tennessee. 26-year-old's first World Series cash, pocket 5s.
We're going to see a 20-somethings here, Lon. They may toss us out of here pretty soon.
Bolt from under the gun raises to 80,000. To Mizrachi now. 7-6 of hearts.
I just noticed Grinder's got a nice set of guns. Very comparable to the way I used to look when I worked out.
Grinder makes that call. Brock Bourne next in line. Lays it down now to the new tournament chip leader, Alex Kostritsin. 10-9 of hearts.
Grinder was asking Alex who the best poker player is in Russia. Alex is in the discussion. This is his 3rd straight main event cash. He was 84th in 08.
From the cutoff seat, he makes the call. Dewey lay folds, so Bolt will see a flop against these 2 top pros. He'll have his work cut out for him, even with his pocket pair. The flop is 6-9-6. Mizrachi hits trip 6s. First to act is Bolt, and he checks it.
Grinder's going to fire away.
No slow play with 2 others in the hand, 100,000. Kostritsin with 9s and 6s calls.
He's got one customer.
Bolt, bolts.
Bolt went from first to worst, and he leaves us.
Heads up between two of the top stacks in the main event. It's an ace of hearts that misses both. Mizrachi remains a big favorite. And he bets 200,000.
They both glance at each other, but I believe both are spoken for.
They are very wary of each other. Kostritsin, I guess, doesn't think Grinder has an ace, and he's right about that. He makes the call. River card, Queen of Diamonds, Mizrachi with the check mark now. Michael, first to act. And he's going to lead out again, this time 825,000.
Grinder makes nearly a pot-sized bet there, making it look like he wants Kostritsin to go away.
Alex relinquishes his hand, and in the process, the Grinder is back in the chip lead.
And Grinder takes in the pot with those finely toned biceps.
Winning key matchups like those are key to your main event success. Back inside the Rio, $67,000 guaranteed to everyone remaining. Let's go over to table 2. John Racener's chip stack of nearly $6 million puts him in second place right now. Filippo Candio has been quiet since his earlier penalty. They're watching as Rob Pisano raised to $75,000 with 9-8 of clubs, called by the big blind John Dolan with Queen Jack of Hearts. 10 ace 7 2 hearts, Dolan with straight and flush draws. Pisano picked up an up and down straight draw. Dolan first to act, needs a king for Broadway, he checks. Pisano's gonna bet at 90,000.
Pisano on the draw, Dolan on the better draw.
Dolan, former poker dealer from Florida, check raises to 280,000.
All in.
And Pisano re-raises Dolan all in.
I call.
And Dolan makes the call with queen high in his draws.
You're ahead.
Dolan willing to risk it all on the draws. He had more than 30 big blinds left. As it turns out, the math was right, and Dolan is ahead.
All right, so the turn card is a deuce of clubs. Pisano now with a club flush draw.
Dolan holding on, his main event teetering. Pisano needs a non-heart, 6, 8, 9, or jack, or any club to knock out Dolan.
It's a heart on the river, and Dolan hits his flush to secure the double up and stay alive.
John Dolan earned that smile. He can play poker again.
Pisano drops below $3 million. Dolan has worked his stack back up to $2.2 million. Back out into the field, Matt Affleck has continued to maintain a healthy stack. He's looking on as Gary Kostiuk, hoping this is not the end of his main event. With ace-queen and his son Ryan looking on, Kostiuk moved all in, was called by Sergei Rybachenko with 9-4 of clubs.
We've seen the Russian with a couple of opportunities to knock out Kostiuk before this.
The flop is king, king, 10, 2 clubs. Kostiuk with a Broadway draw, Rybachenko with a flush draw.
I can win it lots of ways.
Rybachenko has seen him win it lots of ways.
He has indeed. Turn card is a 4. That pairs Rybachenko. Kostiuk now pointed toward the exit.
And now Gary Kostiuk will need a non-club queen, jack, 10, or ace, or he will be eliminated.
The river card. A jack of hearts, and Kostiuk rivers his straight to keep his main event hopes alive. Rybachenko can't believe it.
If I were Kostiuk, I would stay out of Russia for a while. That's the third time we've seen Kostiuk double through Rybachenko.
One time you're in the hot table.
Gary Kostiuk living his dream of playing in the main event since being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. He'll stick around. Well done, Gary. Meanwhile, Eric Baldwin is holding ace-queen. He's deciding whether to call the all-in of David Baker, who pushed with jacks for almost 600,000.
Baker's been hovering around 20 big blinds for a while.
I call.
Baldwin makes the call to put Baker at risk.
Damn it, I was hoping it was 10. I knew it was ace, queen, or 2 tens. Damn it. I thought it was ace, queen, or 10s. Good luck, Dave. Right.
The flop, queen, jack, 9. Baker hits a set. Baldwin with a pair of queens. Baker in control, looking for the double up. Turn card is an 8. That puts a straight draw on the board.
Baker has survived his all-in. If a 10 comes on the river, they would chop the pot.
River card, tray of diamonds, and Baker with his set will win and survive. He'll continue his fruitful run through this World Series, which includes 2 final tables, but despite his success, he's sometimes had a problem distinguishing himself in the poker world.
There is 2 David Bakers, and one of us is old, me, and one of us is young, him. So I'm just the original one. I've been Dave Baker a lot longer than him. This is my 7th cash, and he's had a great year too. They got the couple congratulations on the bracelet that he won. It was funny, on the World Series of Poker.com, they merged us into one. Together, we're really good. Apart, we're just good.
I didn't realize you were such a big deal.
This has been going on for years. He's been around for a while, and I'm not going anywhere, so people are just going to have to get used to sorting out who we are. I'm hoping to win this so I could just, once and for all, just be David Baker.
The two David Bakers have a combined 30 World Series cashes, and I've heard this David Baker's been staying in the presidential suite using comps from the other one.
James Carroll has also been mistaken for another poker-playing James Carroll. This one's in trouble. All in with King 8 against the Ace-King of Evgeny Schneider. The flop was all spades. Schneider with a flush draw.
Carroll all but out of here.
Turn card is another spade. Schneider hits his flush to take the last of James Carroll's chips. Carroll gone in 96th place.
I know that's a really important beverage transaction over there, but I wouldn't mind if James would first shake hands with the fella who knocked him out. I hope he's got correct change.
Carroll wins over $67,000 for his nice run. Back to the featured table, the sting of elimination still fresh for the Mizrachi brothers, who are watching from the rail and cheering on their brother, Michael.
Don't they ever go home?
Here, you pay these people off the street to come with you. What do they get? Like $100 to just sit there and...
You can get a lot crazier in the final 9. You might lose your mind if you make it. You might just quit.
We saw the Grinders cheering section at the Poker Players Championship. I nearly lost my mind.
Action on Peter Jetten. He looks down at Ace-King.
On the other hand, there are Peter Jetten buttons all over the Rio, but they don't make any noise, Lon.
The online poker coach raised it to $75,000. Over to Marcel Cole. This is his first World Series cash. 10-6 off.
I ran into Marcel a couple of days ago. He says, Phil Ivey's out. Why don't you back me then? I told him, you have no chips. I guess you're the poor man's Phil Ivey, and he likes that name.
He makes a call from the button to Michael Mizrachi, 9-7 of hearts in the small blind.
The rich man's Mizrachi right now, the last Mizrachi standing.
And this Mizrachi makes the call to the big blind, Brock Bourne. Bourne looks down at pocket jacks. Bourne makes the call as well.
Bourne's going to be out of position. I would have preferred if he had 3-bet it right there and narrowed the field.
A 4-way flop. It is Queen, Jack, King. Bourne hits a set of jacks. Jetten with a pair of kings and a gut shot. Mizrachi with a gut shot of his own. Cole with an up and down straight draw. Mizrachi checks. Bourne checks.
Again, I would have preferred if Bourne had bet, but being that he's one of the few people left in this room older than us, Lon, I'll respect his judgment.
The other two check it. Here's the turn card. 8 of diamonds. Bourne is still best. Mizrachi now drawing dead. And the grinder checks. Bourne now.
Now Bourne springs into action.
This will get everyone's attention. $200,000.
He might get some takers. Jetten's got top pair, top kicker with a straight draw, and Cole's got an up and down straight draw.
Jetten has chips and does make the call.
Jetten might even have raised there.
Cole gets out of the way. Mizrachi making motions of folding, and he does. So heads up. Bourne right now crushing Peter Jetten. River card is another king. Bourne gets the check mark. He's got jacks full, but that gave Peter Jetten trips.
Nasty card for Peter Jetten.
Bourne checks, hoping Peter has a betting hand.
Old and cagey.
Jetten does have a betting hand. Makes it 325.
Jetten steps into the abyss.
I'm all in.
Bourne check raises all in.
All right, I call.
Peter Jetten makes the call and will be handing over a bunch of chips to Brock Bourne.
We'll score one for the old fella. The way Brock Bourne played that baby, I would have bet the mortgage he didn't have a full house. If I were Jetten, I would have called too.
Peter Jetten was never ahead in that hand, but still handed Bourne over $1 million of his chips. Back at the Rio, Michael Mizrachi at our featured table has been fighting for the chip lead with Alex Kostritsin, who's in a hand right now with pocket tens, having called the pre-flop raise of Flavio Zumbini with ace-king of spades.
Zumbini, a 32-year-old pro.
The flop is Queen 10-7. Kostritsin with a set of tens. Zumbini with a Broadway draw. Kostritsin first to act. $175,000.
Zumbini graduated from Libera Università Internazionale degli Studi Sociali in Rome. I believe they're the Rambling Wreck.
Zumbini called. Tray of spades on the turn. Kostritsin still best. Zumbini now with a nut flush draw also. Alex reaching for the new $100,000 lavender chip. There's 4 plus a little more, $450.
Zumbini has 2 PhDs. He says his mother wonders why he became a doctor twice in order to play poker.
Good point.
I'm all in.
He raises all in.
How much is that? I call.
And Kostritsin makes a call for about 1.5 more. He'll have the lead, but will have to dodge some trouble on the river.
Zumbini's mother happy he didn't get a third PhD. The Italian needs a jack or any spade other than the queen, otherwise he's gone.
River card is a deuce of diamonds. Kostritsin wins it with a set. Zumbini sends all his chips to the Russian pro, who's now over 6.8 million and in second place on the leaderboard. Out in the field, another player enjoying day 6, Matt Affleck, also with over 6 million, is in third place, but both he and Kostritsin may drop a spot. Theo Jorgensen in great shape to take the chip lead with kings up after calling Focky Bucher's all in with a pair of kings after the turn.
You may recall Jorgensen's victory dance earlier when he scored a double knockout. I don't know if he boogies when it's just a single knockout.
He does win the hand, no boogie, but Focky Bucher's is eliminated in 94th place. Jorgensen picks up that $5.5 million chip pot. He is once again the top stack in the room. Looking at our leaderboard presented by PokerStars.net, Jorgensen sitting on top, Michael Mizrachi looming in 5th place, but the biggest climb of the day may belong to Michael Wyrot, who started the day under $1 million. He's now up to 4.7 million. Wyrot and a hand right now with Mikhail Sipkin's pre-flop.
These are two of the players who can beat Joe Cata's youngest ever record.
Sipkin's just re-raised Wyrot, and Wyrot says, I'm all in.
Should these guys be playing Legos or maybe Candyland heads up?
Sipkin's would need to go all in to make this call. And Sipkin's lays it down to the pressure of his fellow 21-year-old.
He conceded to his elder.
Wyrot takes a few chips from Sipkin's. Michael enjoying success at an early age, but he holds a very mature appreciation for where he is.
I was born in Greece, and we moved to Canada when I was about 3 years old. Back when we were in Greece, we used to live in a shack, and my dad would work like 13, 14 hours a day. But I know that because my dad worked so hard for me, that I have that drive to work hard as well. In everything that I do, I always like to compete and try and become the best at it. That's the nature of a poker player. I would have loved to play a lot more sports when I was younger, but my family really couldn't support that. So ever since I was 17 years old, I said once I turn 21, I'm definitely going to the World Series of Poker.
Take that one off the bucket list.
I started playing online, and at first my dad thought that I would lose all my money, but I just been building my bankroll, and now I'm playing like the highest buy-in tournaments that there are online. He's behind me 100%.
At what point do you fly your parents in?
My mom, she would be more happy if I was even just like a baker or something. Our family is actually doing a lot better now, but if I end up winning 9 million, it's scary to think of the possibilities because it literally is life-changing. Yeah, I'm getting a little too excited talking about it right now.
Michael is still in school at the University of Toronto studying finance, and he says he will graduate.
Back over to table 2. Action is folded around to another young player. There are a bunch of them here. 24-year-old John Dolan. Dolan looks down at pocket eights.
He used to be a poker dealer at a dog track in Florida, which is better than being a dog walker at a poker room.
He raises to 100,000. Out of John Racener from Tampa, Florida. You gotta love it. He lost the hat. Queen 10 of clubs.
Racener, like Dolan, they're both 24. They're both from Florida. They both dropped out of college in Florida to play poker.
Fold it over to Filippo Candio. The Italian pro looks down at 10-4.
What's happened to our Filippo? It's like he has a muzzle on.
Yeah, you're right. He folds, so heads up between the two Sunshine State boys, Dolan and Racener. The flop 4-9 king. Dolan's pocket eight still lead. Racener with a gut shot now.
Racener with 11 World Series cashes. Dolan with 6.
Dolan bets 150,000 with his pocket eights. Racener comes along.
I do like Racener better without that baseball cap, you're right.
Turn card, another 4. Dolan still in control. Racener got no help there. Dolan now checks.
Well, Dolan a bit concerned by Racener's call on the flop.
Racener wants to see how serious Dolan is. Bets 220,000.
Racener semi-bluffing at it, hopes to end it right there.
But Dolan comes along with his eights.
And now Racener's got to be concerned.
River card, and Racener spikes a jack. He earns the check mark with a straight.
Nothing like hitting an inside straight to wash away all your worries.
Dolan checks again. Racener bets 740,000 with a king high straight. And Dolan cringes and folds.
Dolan frustrated, but he folds correctly.
Racener collects his winnings. His stack says it all. He's giving the chip leader a serious challenge. Back at the Rio, 88 remaining players scattered throughout the poker room, but Eric Baldwin may be on his way out. He's all in with a suited king-jack, trailing Andrew Brokus and his suited ace-4.
2 bright poker minds and 2 class acts.
The flop 7, deuce 8, Baldwin, no help whatsoever. Brokus still best with ace-high.
What's it gonna be, a 9?
Turn card is a king. Baldwin's pair of kings are favored to double up.
And now only an ace would send Eric Baldwin home.
The river card now is a 9, and Baldwin wins that hand and will survive. He started the day with very few chips. He's improved, but is still short-stacked. All right, let's go over to the feature table once again. A lot more chips in play with our chip leader, Theo Jorgensen, joining Kostritsen and the grinder there. Michael's brothers, Donnie and Eric, are getting resettled in their seats.
You're a beast.
That's a myth.
He was actually a feral child.
A feral child?
Raised by wolves.
No, he was raised by Mama Grinder.
Action on Marcel Cole. He folds now to the grinder. Michael looks down at ace deuce of clubs.
Grinder says he's been winning at poker since day 1 at age 15 playing stud.
He won the first event this year, the Poker Players Championship, and raises here to $105,000.
All the Mizrachis are good at stud. It's their game of choice.
To Jorgensen, coming off a big win of his own, a WPT event in Paris. Jack 9 offsuit.
When he won his pot limit Omaha bracelet at World Series Europe in 08, he beat a final table that included Chris Ferguson, Jason Mercier, Max Pescatore, and Sorel Mitzi.
But a tough table that was indeed. Theo makes the call. The flop, king 8, queen 2 diamonds. Mizrachi still best with ace high. Jorgensen with a gut shot. He checks. Mizrachi reaching for chips, hoping that Jorgensen missed that flop. Bets $150,000.
Yeah, Grinder's got squadouche. He makes the continuation bet. And he hopes Theo does have super squadouche.
Jorgensen has just a draw, and he'll fold. And there you go. Mizrachi wins the pot.
Grinder's tough to figure. He's tighter than he appears, but then he will take his shots.
Michael thinking, welcome to my feature table, Mr. Chip Leader. Jorgensen gives away a few chips to Michael Mizrachi. All right, back over to table 2. Time for the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
I'm thinking of expanding my wildcard hand expertise to guessing when marriages will end.
Filippo Candio with pocket 7s.
Since he was penalized for excessive celebration, he's just been too quiet. He's gone from pen to teller.
The mute Candio will raise it up to $95,000 from under the gun, plus 3. Over to Florida Poker Pro John Racener. He has the Jack Links wildcard hand.
Oh, he's an easy mark. No problem.
Racener needs $75,000 to call from the small blind. And that's what he does.
This is National Week Ace Month, so in celebration of it, I'll put Racener on a weak ace from the small blind. Ace 6.
He'll go heads up with Candio. The flop, there's an ace and 2 aces. Candio with pocket 7s could be in danger if you're right.
Well, if this weren't National Week Ace Month, Racener wouldn't have hit that flop, but he did.
Racener checks it, as does Candio.
Well, if Racener hit trip aces, he would check there.
Turn card is a 5. That does not help Candio. Racener now bets $135.
The best thing about National Week Ace Month is the parade down the strip. I always ride in the Ace of Spades float.
Of course. That is the prettiest float in the procession. Candio makes the call, though.
No, Candio doesn't believe Racener has an ace, but you know, National Week Ace Month is not even recognized in Italy.
It's a 4 on the river. Candio wondering what Racener is up to now. He bets $360.
If that's not a weak ace, then my mother's a man.
Candio with pocket 7s and the aces on board.
Boy, that better be an ace.
You could use a win.
A call.
Candio makes the call.
Filippo thought his pocket 7s were good the whole way.
And Racener shows ace queen a big ace, but trip aces wins the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
It wasn't a weak ace, but an ace is an ace, Lon. It's a victory for the home team. And don't worry, Mom, everything's fine.
Back in the field, Gary Kostiuk's main event is at risk again as 10s have run into the kings of Brandon Steven.
Kostiuk pushed with about 20 big blinds left. Just got unlucky that Steven woke up with pocket kings in the big blind.
We've counted Gary out a couple of times, but he's still here. 9, Jack 5. Steven still ahead.
Put a king up there for a sweat.
Kostiuk hoping to extend his dream ride.
Turn card is a deuce. That will not help him. Steven still ahead.
Kostiuk down to perhaps his final card. His son Ryan assures him everything's fine. Kostiuk needs a 10.
River card is a 6. That will do it. Steven wins the hand, knocking out Gary Kostiuk.
He didn't get to just cross the main event off his bucket list. Gary Kostiuk got to cross into the top 100 here.
Come to an end.
What a run.
Brandon Steven knocks out Gary Kostiuk in 85th place. Gary getting a well-deserved hug from his son, Ryan. He will collect almost $80,000 before heading back to Grand Prairie, Canada. We wish him well in his battle against MS.
It's all smiles. It's all smiles.
Now it's time for Deal Me In, brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. During heads-up play at the 2006 Horse Championship, Andy Block had the chip lead in hopes of taking the title from one of the all-time greats, Chip Reese.
When you're playing heads-up and you're on the button, you're going to play a lot of hands because there's a lot of potential and you've got position. So like I'd been doing, I made a small raise with 7 deuce suited and Chip called me and I can put him on a pretty wide range of cards that he can have in that spot.
Flop is 3-7-4, a pair of 7s for Block, a gut shot straight draw for Chip Reese.
Chip checked to me. I made a continuation bet, and to my surprise, Chip pushed all in.
I'm all in.
And Reese check raises all in. Wow.
I didn't expect that.
Going through my mind, I'm going through all the different hands I think Chip might have. I know from a lot of my experience playing heads up that people are going to push in a lot with straight draws or pair into straight draws. You know, I finally decided that I had to call. I call.
That's 7 call. Great call. Andy has turned that 7 deuce into top pair, and now he might turn it into the horse title.
It was the right call with, unfortunately, the wrong result.
Oh, and Reese got the 6 for a straight.
I made the right play at the wrong time.
Like Block, Jean-Robet Bellande looking for his first bracelet. Right now, he needs more chips.
Come on, guys. You know, a lot of times I don't want to call with ace-king, but right now I need a call.
He moved all in, but didn't get any callers with ace-king.
Jean-Robert's unhappy when he's beat, and he's unhappy when he's not. Therapy might be in order.
David Baker's had a couple of double-ups today, looking for more chips with 2 kings on the board. He fires out a bet of $280,000. Action to Adam Levy, who originally checked the turn. Levy makes the call.
Levy 48th at the 08 main event.
River card is a jack of hearts. Levy checks. He checked the flop, turn and river. Baker checks. And Levy, not 2 queens, 2 aces, and he wins the hand.
The other David Baker would have put Adam Levy on aces.
And top pro Jason Mercier visiting with Adam Levy.
Adam's a very likable chap.
This guy's kind of creepy.
We will take care of it, Adam.
What's scary is the way Alex Kostritsin has been collecting chips at the featured table. He's added 5.5 million chips to his stack over the last 68 hands, while in that same time, the grinder has picked up just over 1 million new chips. Looking at the tail of the tape presented by the official WSOP gameplay now on Facebook, we can see how these two have fared in those last 68 hands.
Alex has won 2/3 of the voluntary hands he's played. The big difference between the Russian and the grinder post-flop. Kostritsin's been a shark, and Mizrachi, well, he's been flopping around like a fish.
Grinder still with full support of his family, sitting on the sidelines. Action on Alex Kostritsin on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam. He looks down at ace tray of hearts.
Kostritsin's never had a full-time job. That's the lifeline.
A raise to $110,000 from under the gun +1.
You know, if you wear this hat on the highway, you're looking at like a 26-car pileup.
Randy Dorfman with Queen 9 of hearts makes the call.
Former options trader.
Jorgensen lays down to Dewey Lay. Lay looks down at a couple of 5s.
Lay has an internet startup company for social networking.
Call.
Lay makes the call.
Social networking. You know, Lon, nobody works anymore.
Peter Jetton will sit this hand out to the big blind, Michael Mizrachi. Michael looks down at King 6 of clubs.
Grinder worked at Bennigan's as an 18-year-old. Who hasn't worked at Bennigan's?
He makes the call. 4 players to the flop. 10-4 jack. Lay with the best made hand with his 5s. Dorfman with an up and down straight draw. Mizrachi checks.
See, this is how your post-flop win percentage goes down. Grinder played rags out of the big blind and missed the flop. It's a loser.
Everybody checked to the turn. Dorfman with a queen high straight. Mizrachi picked up a flush draw. He checks it. Kostritsin checks again, drawing dead. Dorfman with his straight. Bets $275. Lay folds his fives.
With the implied odds, it's worth it for Grinder to chase his flush here. If he hits it, Dorfman probably pays him off.
Grinder does call. Kostritsin folded. Heads up to the river card. Dorfman with that straight. Jack of clubs. Wow, Mizrachi snatches the check mark going runner, runner flush.
Life is good for ex-Bennigan's employees.
Michael bets.
I call.
Dorfman calls the $500,000 plus. Mizrachi shows the flush.
Grinder gets some payback for some earlier day 6 hands against Dorfman, and he improves his post-flop win percentage.
Randy's tilted.
Mizrachi over $7.5 million, now keeping him in the lofty upper echelon of the main event leaderboard. Can the Grinder be stopped? Back to the Rio, where the field is down to 80 players, and it may get one smaller. Michael Wyrod on the left holding queens has Jerry Payne, a poker pro from Ohio, at risk with King Jack.
Wyrot smells knockout.
He's still good through the flop. Turn card now. Oh, it's a king for Payne. And he's smelling the double up now.
Payne living large. Now just has to dodge a queen for the double up.
River card is a deuce, and Payne will double up to over $2.8 million through Michael Wyrot.
Payne is a poker instructor. Everyone's a poker coach these days, Lon. The guy who made my Slurpee the other day was telling me how to play Jack 10 suited from UTG +1.
Nearby, William Thorson of Sweden put out a bet of $250,000 action over to his friend and fellow Scandinavian Johnny Lodden from Norway after the turn on a board of ace-10 tray 9. Lodden folds and shows an ace.
I believe the quality of life is greater in Scandinavia. Of course, I also believe the quality of life is greater at OTB parlors.
Lodden read something into Thorson that forced him to lay down top pair.
And William Thorson's got a lot of chips now, no?
You are right about that. As we head back to the featured table, Thorson, you see, has cracked the top 10. But the storyline is the top 3 stacks. They're all at the featured table. Michael Mizrachi has reclaimed the chip lead. Theo Jorgensen and Alex Kostritsin not far behind.
Well, there hasn't been this many superpowers sitting at the same table since Yalta.
Somebody's got a chip leaning against the table there. You guys, whoever grabs it first gets it.
That might be my chip from last year's study tournament in which I cashed.
Well, you can't just, what are you doing?
You want it? Here. He can have it.
Well, I just don't know whose it is.
Well, who won the last pot?
I don't. I honestly don't know. So if you think that Marcel's more likely, then he should get it.
Nice gesture from Peter Judd.
Okay, let's go.
That's worth one ante, $5,000.
I thought we might have another Pralad Lissandro kerfuffle on our hands.
Blinds still at 20 and 40,000. Cole lays his hand down. Mizrachi, king 9 of hearts.
Grinder started day 6 with 1.8 million chips, now sitting on 8 million.
A raise to 100,000 to the third biggest stack in the room. Kostritsin folds. Jorgensen with the second biggest stack. King deuce of spades.
He's good friends with Gus Hansen. Gus has 3 World Poker Tour titles. As you mentioned earlier, Jorgensen just got his first in Paris.
Jorgensen wants to dance with Mizrachi, so a clash of the 2 big stacks. The flop is deuce 8 6 2 hearts. Jorgensen paired his kicker. Mizrachi with a flush draw.
Grinder has 2 WPT titles. Didn't break through at the World Series till this year.
Jorgensen checks. His pair of deuces is in the lead. Mizrachi bets $125,000 on the draw.
Grinder trying to improve his post-flop win percentage with the semi-bluff here.
Jorgensen will come along.
Grinder's thinking, this is America. I have home field advantage, so the flush should come in.
Turn card 7 of clubs. Mizrachi does add an up and down straight draw.
But those motley deuces are still best for Theo.
And he checks them.
Maybe Jorgensen hoping Grinder will get bored right here and just fold his hand to a check.
Checks to the river. Queen of spades on the river. Jorgensen with the check mark, but can he take the pot with deuces?
Grinder's thinking, this is America. How did I miss all my draws?
Jorgensen checks a third time.
He's hoping again a check will win this pot.
The door's open for Michael. He does bet $125,000.
We've seen Grinder do this before, Lon, the small value bet bluff on the river. No, it has somehow awakened Theo Jorgensen.
Jorgensen. Check raises to $600,000.
Jorgensen counters with the pot-sized bluff. It's the battle of the bluffs, and he who bluffs last bluffs best. I believe Camus said that.
Michael, a bit uneasy.
He's got squadoosh.
He can only beat a bluff. Jorgensen can barely beat a bluff himself, but he will take the pot.
I saved so much money.
Michael saying the losses could have been a lot heavier in that hand.
with the flush drawing a straight draw.
Well, this is America. People from all over the world do well here, like Theo Jorgensen.
And Jorgensen once again back on top of the main event leaderboard. Going over to table 2. Another player who has remained near the top, John Racener, just folded. Action over to Manuel Davidian. 27-year-old is on the button. He has pocket tens.
Davidian finished 10th at a no-limit event here earlier at the World Series.
He's going to raise it up to 90,000 to Filippo Candio in the small blind with ace-king. Candio wants to re-raise it, 265. Big blind folds back to Davidian with a repop to 630.
I'm all in.
And Filippo Candio shoves for it all.
And a big decision and a tough call here for Davidian. Candio all in, but this is for almost all of Davidian's chips. It's a 5-bet by Filippo. Davidian knows he might have run into a bigger pocket pair.
I call.
Davidian commits the chips to put Candio at risk.
It's a race line, 2 main event lives essentially at stake, and a 5.4 million chip pot.
A most critical moment for both Davidian and Candio. Here's the flop, and there's a king. That's a punch to Davidian's gut, just what Filippo needed.
Candio keeping a lid on. I think Filippo is singing softly to steady his emotions.
Davidian looking for a 10, the turn card, an 8, no help.
Candio looking for a big double up. Davidian looking for a 10 and a 10 only.
The river card is a tray, and Candio wins it. Welcome back, Filippo.
Bachman Turner overdrive, 1974.
Davidian hands over almost all his chips. Candio up to almost 5.5 million.
It's my first all-in all tournament, too.
Candio bubbling but not boiling over after delivering that destructive blow to Davidian. And now the Italian is once again a big stack at the main event.
Ciao, ESPN.
As day 6 came to a close, so too did the main event for over 100 players, including former chip leaders and familiar faces like Gary Kostiuk, who enjoyed taking a shot at this world championship.
Best week of my life, period.
Only 78 remain, including competitors like Eric Baldwin, David Baker, and Jean-Robet Bellande, who hung on and advanced to day 7.
Day 7 with 3,200 in chips.
While Theo Jorgensen, John Racener, and Michael Mizrachi rolled through the day and looked to maintain their momentum towards a seat at the final table.
It could be very exciting. It could be history. Hopefully, I'm trying to make it happen.
For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Thanks for watching the World Series of Poker.